use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one, motherfucker, by peace. You take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, not so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, right girls, better tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that, stop that, stop that.
Billy, hockey's fun, huh?
I've been told that the hockey playoffs are fun. Unfortunately, down here in Florida, we've only had one, and it was a cakewalk, and we knew exactly how one was going to go. So I'm hoping the next round down here for the Panthers is fun. But, like, wow, you score a game-tying goal with, like, a second and a half left in regulation. Oof, hockey.
Greg.
Yeah. What do you need? What happened?
Why are you grabbing your microphone, making all sorts of noise as if we didn't already start the show, and you don't know where the microphone's supposed to be?
Okay.
Because you danced too much this weekend, Greg?
I mean, he is coming off a big wedding weekend.
No, are you going to be this today? Are you going to be this?
Okay, I don't need to be scolded by you. Greg's sort of in a bad mood.
Yeah, boy.
For a couple of different reasons. An unnamed voice in my head, while we're on the air, told me to move over a little to my left. So I did as I was instructed, and I therefore had to move my microphone. If it made a tiny little sound, I cry your pardon, sir. Now go on with your show and leave me alone. Christ almighty. Treat me like a child. I warned Christopher I'm not in the mood to be scolded on the air for something that wasn't my fault.
Right.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So.
I treat you like a child because you are one. Because you danced this weekend like a fool because you got rid of the young one.
Well, whether I got rid of him or not is a whole nother question. But.
Right.
You
never get rid of the kids.
How old is he?
Never.
Right. Isn't he like 40?
No, he's like 33.
Yeah.
In fact, he is 33.
Yeah.
So he's not like 33. He's been 33 for several months.
Tell me about the wedding. What hurts? Where does your body hurt? Why does it hurt? And how was the best man speech? Because I assume, I don't think I have this wrong, I don't know that Michael has a lot of best men to choose from, but like here at Meadowlark with the executive producer chair, this is the best we got. And so his best man isn't the best. It's just the best the pirate ship's got.
I don't know how to take what you're saying right now.
And neither do I.
Quite a compliment.
It's not a compliment.
That your brother made you the best man because his choices made you the best man.
Well, that's what you do, right? With brothers, when you have friends, you don't know which one to choose. You're just like, all right, the brother, easy choice.
No, you two are very close.
No, we are, but it's like he has other friends that he could have chosen, but you just
No, a brother breaks the tie.
You just make it easy.
It gets him out of a bad
Tie
spot.
goes to the brother.
it's
Right.
honestly what I did. It's what I did. I had friends I could have chose, and I just, you choose your brother.
I mean, way back in the day, I chose Uncle Dick. You choose your brother. It's the default.
He chose Dick.
You sort of have to.
Yeah.
But the speech was, I don't want to oversell it, but I got praises the rest of the night. People coming up to me, oh, man, you really are the funnier brother. That was one of my lines in the thing, that I'm the funnier brother.
Right.
But,
Can we see that speech and see if it holds up in court? Can we get the audience to decide with the expectation of funny?
You told us on Friday you didn't want to make it about you.
Well, I had to throw in some zingers.
It's okay. Look, I've got sources on this, and I'm surprised. I don't know. You guys will have to tell me. You guys will have to explain to me what I missed this weekend at Michael's wedding as Greg released. He received his freedom, and now the only one left to raise a child is Erlene, who has this giant toddler now at home, who is a granddad, and it's been a delight to watch him be that. Good God, it's the softest him I've ever seen. He's so much more delightful with them than he ever was with these young boys that he ruined with all of his parenting.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris made a good speech, according to the discerning eye of Greg Cody, who knows what good writing sounds like.
It was a very good speech. He really overthought it, and by that, that's a compliment. He was concerned about particular words and how it would sound and what he should say, what he shouldn't say. He put a lot into it, and It was long. I'm going to be very honest. It was like 7.5 minutes long.
Too long?
Too long?
I
Say
didn't
it, Greg.
that.
Too long?
No, it was longish.
It might have been
Too long?
But he nailed it.
I did it quicker because when I was recording it in my house, like I went so thorough with it that I like recorded how long it would take, and it took me like 9 minutes in my kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you do it, you get a little
You
nervous.
did a practice run, huh?
Oh, multiple.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
I told him not to hurry it because when you're a little nervous or whatever, you tend to talk too fast. So I told him to take your time. You got.
Was it too long?
No, it wasn't.
You said it was longish.
I said it was longish, but the time flew. Let's put it this way.
You noticed it was long, though. The time must not have flown that fast if you noticed it was long.
After the fact, somebody told me it was 7.5 minutes long, and I
Why
was
was
surprised.
anyone timing it?
Because people
Because it was
do
too
that.
long. Because
People do that or whatever.
People.
No, it's
Okay,
because they
here
were
you go.
videoing it
Whatever.
and they just looked at their videos.
Right. I mean,
And it's at 7:30.
It's called
Right.
technology.
On Friday, we spoke strategy with Chris Cody. We were trying to give him a pep talk of what to do. One of the things that was discussed was should he just redo Greg's speech from the rehearsal dinner the night before and see how long before Greg noticed that he just recycled his speech.
That would have been funny.
I'm assuming he didn't do that. He also was talking about pranking his brother and making him drink some sort of pickle juice or something.
Vienna sausage juice.
Did
I
you-
ended up referencing the Vienna sausage prank that he did with me. Did a callback to it, but I did not actually bust out the Vienna sausage.
So what did you bore everyone with for 7.5 minutes? You didn't do any of the pranks or anything we practiced.
No, I did some fun stories about them, and I think it went well.
Okay.
It was really good, and I will say that fun snippets from his best man speech are exclusively on the Greg Cody Show podcast,
Nice.
which dropped this
We
morning.
could play it here.
So listen to it.
If there were any communication
not play
between
it.
any
Said
of the
exclusively,
entities,
I
we
mean.
would bring the universes together and it would be delightful. Instead, we will just tell people and we'll have no planning. And instead, we will have an executive producer who hasn't been thinking about the show. And
Well, no,
where-
it's actually very intentional. He doesn't want it played here.
no, and a old man at 70 who now has his freedom.
He's thinking about a show, his own show. I mean,
Shouldn't I?
Well, but this is yes, you should. But the question I now want to ask, based on the information I've just been given, are you guys telling me that he made the rehearsal speech? How long was that? Because I can imagine him really falling.
As long as he wants.
I imagine he could really fall in love with his own voice there.
Yeah.
Was he brief or did he go months?
It was shorter than mine by a lot.
Wow.
It was a few minutes. It was 3
It's
or
also
4
a
minutes.
different speech. The father at the rehearsal dinner, much less like pressure than the best man speech.
Yeah, that's true.
Debatable.
And the one nitpick on his best man speech is that I fed him a couple of funny lines. and
Terrible jokes.
He chose not to use. See,
Well-
Michael, look, my newlywed has a little phobia, a little fetish. He never shows his bare feet.
Oh, thank God.
He just doesn't.
Thank God.
Like when I
What a
tell you
strange
I'm his
thing to
brother
thank
and
God
I've
for.
seen his feet maybe 2 or 3 times in my entire life.
That's
Right.
strange.
Oh wow. Okay, so wait a minute. This is not a fetish, and I don't know if it's a phobia, but you guys have certainly revealed it would appear your brother or son's greatest insecurity on air.
And we pointed it out the night before at dinner. We're like, oh, should I joke about this? And Michael very clearly was like, don't do this.
I know, but we kid about it all the time.
But
it's
that's
like an
the
open
family.
secret
That's
in the family.
No, but that's an inner circle. He clearly is ashamed of his feet.
What's wrong with that?
No, he has beautiful
He
feet.
gets super defensive about there's nothing wrong with them. I just don't like not wearing socks. Like he
they're
gets
beautiful
super
feet.
mad. But Dad, why don't you pitch the joke that you wanted me to say? It's a real doozy.
I have to hear this.
He must have been scarred by his father's feet as a child.
It could be.
You've got to know for sure. Like for sure.
He lashes out at my dad's feet
no,
anytime
no,
my
they're
dad brings up his feet.
disgusting. Your father's feet are disgusting.
They look like dinosaur
just
feet.
because we
What
had
is that?
thousands of people come over and see his toenail doesn't make the feet disgusting. They're prehistoric. That's not a human being's feet. That's an animal's feet.
Wow.
If I told you that thing lived in prehistoric times and was a pterodactyl's talon, you would say yes, it was.
Okay, you
That's a
photoshopped that.
No,
That
that's
can't
Did
be my
nothing to
feet.
that.
that is a demon gargoyle that fries chicken on or fries turkey on Thanksgiving, and that's how those feet look, like the devil's feet. If I told you,
To be fair, those are from prehistoric times
I
when Greg was
told-
born.
if I told you guys, if
are
I
70-year-old
told you
feet.
guys, no other context. In fact, put that on the Twitter poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do these look like the devil's feet? The devil's barefooted. The devil's got the same. The devil's got the same phobia.
Or Bryles.
The devil's got the same phobia that Michael Cody has about his
Right.
feet. And those feet, he's scarred because his father has the devil's feet. That has been naked in bathrooms, wandering around the house for 30 years. That boy got married, and it's a miracle a woman loves him. He's been scarred by his father's feet.
because of seeing those feet as a kid, he has foot dysmorphia.
Scarred.
Instead of body dysmorphia, he sees his feet as his father's, even though he, according to his father, has beautiful feet.
That is the worst photograph of my feet I have ever seen.
You don't say.
It's not
it's not the
representative.
worst. They're worse now. That we've been telling you this for years. We've been telling you. This is what I believe.
I missed that toe.
This is what I believe. Stugotz has twice cut that toenail because we're all on record knowing that's exactly what that looks like. That's not what that. He cut those toenails and we preserved them, and people made a pilgrimage, thousands of people.
That's true.
To come see one of those toenails, because why wouldn't you get the artifact of I've got the toenail from the devil's feet?
Yeah. That's true. I think that's the one distinction I have that perhaps nobody else on earth has.
Can you guys get Jessica on the phone, please? I think some of the funniest things she did was being truly disgusted by Greg's feet. This is on record. Greg, your feet are disgusting, and your youngest son has been scarred for life by it in a way that I now insist that Michael send us a photo of his feet.
Well, it's a joke within the family, and I fed Christopher a lot of good lines that he chose not to use.
Okay, let's do Only Dan's with your brother's feet. Let's find how many people will pay. Let's figure this out. Do it on your podcast. Build a business over there. How do we get Michael's feet seen by the public? Show us your shame. It's okay. Everybody loves feet.
He's got beautiful feet.
Why is it called Only Dan's if it's Michael?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Because you guys need my name to make money.
Yes.
Greg, tell the joke, the awful joke that you wanted me to do about my brother's feet.
Okay, there were several lines I gave him, and one of my favorites was, I don't want to say Michael's ashamed of his feet, but even when he gets a pedicure with socks on. I thought that was a funny
That's
line.
what I was working with. So
think
that's
it-
why I left it out.
I think it would have killed. He gets a pedicure with socks on.
We got it.
I get it.
You
I'm
know,
just
he
not laughing.
He showers with dress shoes on. I mean, there's a million things you can say, and he chose not to do any of them. Nevertheless, his best man speech slayed. I thought it was really good.
Been saying that all weekend, and it annoys me every time.
Slade? Him
Yes.
using
It's
Slade?
like a modern word to use. I mean, the
All right,
hipsters
Dragon.
are saying that.
Put it on the
Dragon's feet,
poll.
yeah.
Put it on the poll.
Leave the man alone. I mean,
Seriously.
Put it on the poll.
slaying it.
Is Slade like a modern thing to say?
I think it is.
You're keeping up with the kids by complimenting his best man speech by using a verb that the kids use?
Yeah, it's slayed.
And your son's annoyed that you're doing this. Is
Apparently.
it like me and Pablo saying standing on business last week?
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Like that.
Actually,
That was absolutely. You got that right.
Jeez.
Okay, I just to make sure.
Gasp what he said.
that came from Lewis. 100%.
For sure.
What?
Oh, do I miss that show? Where are you guys there for him? You guys are supposed to be producing him there. You guys should be giving him that joke. I'm wondering why it is that I got from Funny Guy, Slade guy over here. I got sources that tell me, and I'd like to know which joke this was, that you had written on your piece of paper, pause for laughter.
Yes. Yes. And I actually was instructed by a comedian to actually say that line, because that's just what I'm doing. I'm pausing for laughter.
Right.
That's just a reminder for me to lay out here.
So Brad Williams told you that, huh?
And he was like, you got to say the line. Read it out loud. I didn't do it. I did not actually
Oh,
read
you
pause
have
for
to.
laughter.
It's funnier
I-
if you play the oath there. It's funnier if you say pause.
Ron Burgundy.
Did you do a bunch of short jokes as well? I mean,
I told him to say pause for laughter out loud. That would have been funny.
I did a couple times in my rehearsal, but just it didn't make it to the final.
Are you going to admit who fed you the line that was your opening?
Field Yates, my opening line, my opening joke was a Field Yates.
Did you write any of your
suggestion.
speech?
Yes, I wrote all of it.
But I'm not. Sounds
Except
like
the
Field
opening
Yates
line.
wrote it, and Brad Williams, and
yeah.
Greg wrote some of it.
I thought a lot about it. I used sounding boards.
How'd you get to Field Yates in terms of like who should be giving
that's
you
just
prep on
that for
speech?
sure
was
is
on
a
the big show.
podcast guest.
Yeah.
That's
no,
the
Field
Greg-
happened to be on my podcast.
The Greg Cody show
you know.
featuring Greg Cody,
With-
and he made it about himself and narcissism. And Field, what advice do you have for me and my interesting family?
Yeah.
It was a risque opening line. It got it got a lot of laughter, but it got some groans.
What
Yeah.
was it?
It was they say the best man's speech is only supposed to last as long as the groom does in bed. And that got a big laugh right there. So enjoy dinner, everyone.
did you pause for laughter?
Oh, of course I did. I'm telling you, that one's slayed.
It was good. No, it was great. And here's the thing. In what we play from his best man speech on my podcast, which is out today, the Greg Cody Show, he insisted that the emotional parts not be in. He wanted just the funny stuff in because it did get very emotional. And I was moved. I was touched as the father of both. I thought it was wonderful.
Enough with the sentiment. His body hurts. That's the excuse to Greg Cody today on why it is he will be bad and cranky and everything else. I do want to know how much you danced, but that was a pretty cool sports weekend. I don't know where the rest of you would begin today, and I know a lot of the story today is going to be about the Warriors and Steph Curry, as I'm like, holy shit, Winnipeg, my God.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just, and what do
What a game.
What do you mean there's a hockey coach that's 9-0 in Game 7s? How is that possible? And it's just a total insanity as, Warriors, Rockets for all the stakes. Buddy Hield beats everybody because that's the night Buddy Hield.
The Buddy Hield game, Dan.
No, we're gonna say Steph Curry second half splur. Jimmy Butler. Oh, Buddy Hield. Okay, can you? That's a bit surprising to see all of that happen, Joe. Oh, that's how the game's played in Game 7. It's not about anybody's toughness. It's about that guy makes threes better than a lot of people, and whoa, hey, wee. And the Rockets can't score, and they're really tough. The Rockets are really tough, but Buddy Hield makes all the threes, and if he does that for any team in the league, they'll win the championship. Yeah.
Who is this person?
Yeah, really.
Isn't that what happened, though? Do I have it wrong?
I mean, Buddy Hield had a game, yeah.
No, but
certainly.
it's not just Buddy Hield had a game. It's Buddy Hield had a game after Steve Kerr has been on a mic caught, hey, Buddy Hield, that's your teammate, Steph Curry over there. Pass him the ball. He's the best shooter ever. And Buddy Hield's like, no, tonight I'll shoot it in Game 7.
Yeah.
I'll do it, and I'm really good at it, too. Not as good as Steph Curry, because no one is.
Part of this was also, though, the Rockets just being exposed for not having enough on offense. Like, it's not like Steph or even Buddy Hield's big performance really meant that the Warriors were scoring that much. It was the fact that the Rockets did not have a go-to scorer. Şengün got shut down, and the moment that Amen Thompson wasn't at full strength, that game was over.
Well, so Draymond Green, who gets Hustle Awards and no one likes him, and he's just an unprecedented defensive beast that you just must give credit to because, no, the Rockets do have an excellent number one option. They do. He's excellent. I'd like him against a lot of teams all over the league. I'm not saying that he's some of these other people. I'm saying that I'm a bit startled that Draymond Green is still at this point doing that in Game 7s as the fuel and furnace for them. As, hey, the Rockets, we've seen this so many times, right? I mean, LeBron just got knocked out, and that's over there, and you're going to wonder about it. But they got Jimmy and Steph for now, and they got him to get over a Rockets team that's younger, better seeding, and tough, like a team, Ime Udoka and what they did there. They deserved a better fate than all of that. But they run into a champion at the end with Jimmy Butler hanging on for life, Steph hanging on for life. Hey, we just saw LeBron get knocked out. We might not get another chance at this, really, because these young kids all want the league, Houston included.
Yes.
They beat us at home, and now we go to Game 7 over there, and they're tough. But we're tougher because we've been here longer, and then Houston will be better next year because you have to hurt like that to see, ooh, they're tougher than us.
They're going through the pain right now.
But it's not that they're tougher than you. It's just that's the day Buddy Hield made all history.
Yes. I'm not certain they're tougher. You're right. A guy just got hot.
But I'm
yes.
saying,
He's a professional shooter.
But they
yes.
will go. No, what do you think is going to be said on ESPN and what happened in Game 7? Like, you think they're going to turn on the television? It's not going to be, the Warriors just tougher mentally, tougher, stronger, bigger, faster, better. Oh, Draymond Green rules. He won that game. Like, and because he's tougher. Yeah. Isn't that what's going to happen as the hockey playoffs happen?
Yes.
As tougher, like we agreed that's tougher. Yes.
In terms of credit, I agree with you. Nationally, it's going to be Steph. It's going to be Draymond Green. It's going to be Jimmy Butler. No one's talking about Buddy Hield today, and everyone should be talking about Buddy Hield today.
So can you guys? Well, that's not true. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Should everyone?
The guy was 9 of 11 in a closeout Game 7. I mean,
put it on the poll at
Big Shot Bud.
Put it on the poll. Is Big Shot Bud a good nickname?
Look, Stugotz is right in that was the only difference here. Because if you look at the stars on both teams, all the stars were somewhere between 21 and 27 points.
They canceled each other out.
The difference is always in the role players. And I think in the NBA right now, we've seen it in this first round more than ever. It actually doesn't matter if you have the best star. It matters that your team is the deepest. You're only as good in the NBA right now as your weakest link. And there's been people writing about this recently, which is that The stardom has gotten to be so good. The superstars are so excellent and so consistent that James Harden in Game 7, it's the total aberration. It's a total aberration where most of the stars will play well. It's up to those role players to make you a championship level team.
Which is why the Heat got bounced the way they did.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
It wasn't about the fact. I mean, it is. Look, Harden, Hero, and Adebayo are not the best duo that we're seeing in the playoffs. But it's not about the fact that they fell short. It's the fact that after the two of them, what else was there for Miami? Nothing.
And you would think Wiggins, but he's not there. And there's no option to be the third and fourth.
Well, and that's the difference for the Warriors.
How do we
Right?
get to
Wiggins
the
becomes Butler, and that's where they're great.
The Clippers.
Oh, you really messed that one up, huh, Dan?
I mean, you thought Zubac was going to be a difference maker.
Oh, the Clippers. I'm the guy who always goes to the strip club and falls in love with the other stripper who I think loves me.
Nicholas Batum.
Oh, my God. I'm that guy. What a horrible thing to see in the mirror.
You still have the Pacers.
Oh, my beloved Pacers, thank you.
That won't last.
I feel like Tony was with you.
They're up 1-0.
That won't last. Come on.
Oh, Tony was with me.
And then he went off to Mexico.
Okay, but Tony was with me, but it wasn't. Really? So what knocks me out, makes me look like an idiot, is a dunk at the buzzer off of that Jokic shot? That's what, really? That's what's going to, I went to sleep last night feeling bad at the end of another night when I went to the strip club and I thought that stripper fell in love with me and I fell in love with her that night. Mm-hmm. James Harden is, and I feel so bad for being so dumb.
They lost to Russell Westbrook.
And DeAndre Jordan.
Tyronn Lue. Zer.
Hey.
They lost to a team that fired its coach 9 games before the end of the season. And here's the best part. Here's where I tell you, here's where I knew I was doomed. This was the sinking feeling. We've been here, right? Jamal Murray and Jokic are 0 for 9. Nuggets up by 3. When he talks about role players on this one, do you realize, and not enough people will be talking about Buddy Hield, and not enough people will be talking about what Jeremy's talking about, which is a precision in the sport that has made it so that there are a lot of three-point shooters who can really change the outcome of how some teams are seen long-term.
To Jeremy's point, if Dylan Brooks has the game that Buddy Hield had last night, Houston wins that game.
Correct, but look, we can drop that ingredient in any NBA game, and the analysis afterward will still be about toughness and whatever the things are. But what I did want to say to you that comes from the old analysis simplified, we've been saying for a long time that role players or trade deadline pieces are what win championships, and I have not agreed with that. For the longest time, I've always thought that superstars and monster talents do that, and it's not about George Hill. But the superstars have gotten so good, and the people next to them have gotten so good at the threes that Steve Kerr is yelling at Buddy Hield, Buddy, you stop dribbling. Steph's over there. He's better at this than you are. Yeah, most nights. But every once in a while, in 100 shots, it'll be Buddy Hield is the one who makes the threes. And now, again, small sample sizes, right? So before that series, you know what the key to that series was through 6 games? I could say the key. That Pirate Steven Adams. He was plus 53 when he was on the court, minus 39 when he wasn't. He played a bunch of minutes last night, minus 9. Why? Buddy Hield.
Yep.
That's why, because Buddy Hield is raining threes. And I ask a couple of questions about Buddy Hield as I really want to celebrate him today, for real. Not everyone should be talking about Buddy Hield and then we won't talk about it again. Who are the greatest athletes in the history of the Bahamas? I wish to know this because I want to know Buddy Hield's. I'd like to make Buddy Hield the star he deserves to be today because he carried basketball, and we should be talking about hockey, but Buddy Hield did something last night. We were all curious because we were waiting for Steph to do that.
I think there are so few superstars, athletes from the Bahamas that Jazz Chisholm gets to be in the conversation.
All right,
top 5, probably.
I'd like a top 5. I don't know if that is true, but we will find out momentarily. The thing that I wanted to say, though, that is true about the analysis today now, Buddy Hield is a player, and I keep getting told that whatever it is that James Harden is in Game 7s, and it's dreadful, Stugotz. It's just elimination games for James Harden. Like, he just simply
He gets eliminated.
Yes, that's correct. Buddy Hield doing this on the road, it can be proven empirically that role players shrink Game 7s on the road. On the road in general, but Game 7s on the road, you cannot trust your role player. I believe that's a thing from the past. I believe the sharpshooting has gotten so good that we're going to see all of that analysis have to change in the face of, no, man, we all know any of these guys in this league now can make 9 of 11 threes on a night.
And they can completely take the crowd out of it. That's what happened in Houston. Like when Golden State started going crazy early, and it was Buddy Hield in particular, by halfway through the second quarter, Houston was their crowd was completely out of the game. They knew what was happening to them, and it eliminated home court advantage. So the little advantage that you might have from having that better regular season is annihilated by these role players going off that way.
And it'll be more and more the postseason is what everyone plays for, because all you need is it doesn't matter whether you're a 7 or a 2 if you could trade for Jimmy Butler and then just rain threes. Like, it does. What difference does it make? You can give away the whole regular season, and Draymond will be there in the playoffs when you need him to shut someone down in Game 7.
Well, and that's where the depth comes into play, right? Because you need to be able to have enough guys that can get you through the regular season just to get to the postseason. The Warriors didn't want to be in the play-in. They really wanted to be in the postseason because they risked the potential for injury, whether it was to Jimmy or anybody else. And so now they get to move on, but all of these teams are in this really precarious spot of how do we know that we're actually the better team? Because there are so many veterans that are not really giving their best effort through the regular season.
What do you guys do with this? Rockets not named Amen Thompson shot 5 for 20 on layups in that game. So if you make all of those, you ward off Buddy Hield. I mean, we can do this analysis in ways that are funny, right? But as you extend the game, right? Because this part, I mean, God, this is one of the most interesting things that's happening in the evolution of human beings. Yeah, Steven Adams, you can only take that body so far, all of that stuff so far. Here comes Buddy Hield from 3. And everyone get out of the way. It doesn't matter, Ime Udoka, what you were doing all season.
He's making his shots.
It does not matter.
Well, and to the same point, right? If you look at the Cavs on the other side in Game 1 against the Pacers, they made 9 threes. That's the first single-digit three-point game of the year for the Cavs. So they did that in Game 1 on their home floor. It didn't matter that they were at home. Sometimes the role players aren't going to show up when you're facing a new opponent, and that's where you need moments from guys like TJ McConnell that are going to show up and give you a plus 15 performance in like 23 minutes all the time.
My beloved Clippers were 32-9 down the stretch.
Yeah. Now they're watching with me and you.
First round exit the last 2 years. I've said that championship good those Clippers are if they can just stay healthy. Well, they did.
The healthiest they've ever been.
Oh, my God. That's how they went 32-9. And I feel like an idiot. I believed, I mean, it's just an idiotic thing to say. I believed in the Clippers. Nobody says that.
If they were in the East, they could have won the conference.
Perhaps.
Such a good team.
They're amazing.
Such a good
They're
team.
really so good, Dan.
Yeah, but no one thinks Boston's good.
I have some athletes born in the Bahamas.
Go ahead.
Mikhail Thompson, Clay's dad.
Who?
Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Solid player.
And Freeney.
Oh, no.
Spelled M-Y.
What's the matter?
Well, I mean, yes,
old.
it's Anthony Hardaway. It's not knowing a player. He should know the spelling of his name because, Chris, you may have noticed, not much of a reader, right? He doesn't read his father's columns. He's not. I don't imagine there are many books or magazines in the house. Do you think Chris is a reader?
He read over his best man speech
like a million times.
Do you think Greg ever wrote a column about Michael Thompson?
Yeah, no, would be the short answer there.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Michael Thompson is from the Bahamas. DeAndre Ayton is from the Bahamas.
Wow.
Buddy Hield, as we said. Jazz Chisholm, as we said. And Kimbo Slice.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Born in the Bahamas.
The late great.
Wow.
Miami legend. R.I.P.
15 NBA teams have winning regular season records. The Clippers rank 8th. The Clippers are the only one of those 15 teams that haven't won a playoff series.
Yeah. Your Clippers.
Jokic took that shot, and Aaron Gordon ruined me with a dunk at the rim at the buzzer. Do you know that I've watched basketball all my life without ever seeing a dunk at the rim at the buzzer?
I don't think it's ever happened in the history of the NBA.
Do you know I have watched basketball the entirety of my life?
Well, it happened in college once, right?
I have
Lorenzo Charles.
No, that wasn't a dunk. It was sort of a little layup on an air ball.
Semantics.
Is it semantics?
Semantics.
I feel like he dunked it, Lorenzo Charles.
I don't. Well,
I mean, Wittenberg put up the shot. I believe it was a shot. It was not a pass. I don't want to hear about it. And then Lorenzo Charles happened to be there, and I think he slammed it home.
Okay, can you guys see if you can find that in video? We can have the reveal now because he may have this right. I did think he sort of just put the ball in, but we can then examine whether it is or it isn't a dunk. I don't think it was a dunk. It certainly wasn't an alley-oop from Jokic falling out of bounds to Aaron Gordon to ruin me. That's not what it was, even though
Aaron Gordon's was more of a dunk. I will give you that.
Well, thank you.
He flushed it.
I do appreciate that. He slayed it. Aaron Gordon on that dunk. I will tell you this: that dunk, and I've been watching Aaron Gordon for 3 years, and if he's your fourth best player, I can win a championship, sure. For 3 or 4 years, it's the reason I say Jokic is the best offensive thing I've ever seen. Gordon has done nothing but that for 4 years. He shoots threes fine, but it's just, Jokic has the ball, everyone's scared. Alley-oop, Gordon dunk. And it's like, that's an easy, fun way to play the game when you can play with that guy and be more athletic than everyone else.
Orlando originally tried to make him their number one. That's who the Orlando Magic have been for all these years.
And when he was their number one, he was Tyler Hero.
He wasn't quite Tyler Hero.
Yeah, okay.
He was a fantasy stud, though. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, my God. The stats he would put up.
Dunk champion.
Oh, my God. 49 out of 50.
That's what defeated me. Greg Cody, the hockey weekend, did it grab you?
Oh, my gosh. I have to tell you. Okay, for me, I know we're talking about NBA, and we should be, but for me, the biggest story nationally, including Canada, obviously, is the way Winnipeg won that game.
Nationally doesn't include Canada, but that's okay.
I was exhausted last night. I was exhausted from the weekend, emotionally, physically. I had to get to bed, but I'm watching the end of that Winnipeg game, and they score to make it to pull within 1 goal. All right, there's 5 minutes left. I got to finish watching. 1.6 seconds left. They tie it. A double overtime. They win. Winnipeg has never won a playoff game in their history. Last night was the series.
Roy, they're good. I was telling you during the regular season. You say you don't fear them, and you're
no, I don't. Especially the way Connor Hellebuck played in the first period, giving up those two goals. But he ended up playing very well the rest of the stretch, and it was a miracle comeback by the Jets.
I don't want to make this all about the Panthers, but watching the Blues those final couple minutes with a 2-goal lead, there was multiple times the puck is in the corner, and they just let it get out. A couple times they have the puck with control, and they dump it down panicky. That's where the Panthers shine. That puck gets in the corner, they keep it there for 7 months. St. Louis couldn't keep the puck in the corner. There was way too many chances late for Winnipeg to equalize, and they get just with – I don't know how that puck ends up in front of the net with seconds left.
Listen to me. You guys need to pace yourself, okay? You need to pace yourself because the first 106 years of hockey, 2-goal comebacks in the third period in a Game 7, 3. Ever. 106 years. Last 2 days, 2. You guys need to slow your asses down.
Yeah.
And you don't understand that we're just still in the first round. And I need to stop hyperventilating about I fear Winnipeg. And Roy, you need to settle everyone in the room down on we're headed into another playoff series now, and it's the second round. And at the end of this, the last couple of years, if you think his body is battered from dancing too much at a wedding, like these hockey playoffs have beaten up your old man.
Yeah, that's true. But we did get rid of the heat early. Remember,
that's big for him.
A couple of years in the past,
you were rooting for that.
I've been juggling both teams.
He was driving both places.
It's great. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He was driving between Panthers that are in the Everglades and the Heat that are across the street. I tried to do that sort of yesterday to get to F1. It took me 2 hours and 52 minutes.
Wow.
Good God.
Well, I could have gotten to
another hour to go before you get to my house.
I could have gotten to Orlando. I could have gone to Disney World.
I need to see that outfit.
In the traffic it took me to get to F1, driving very slowly to see cars drive very fast.
Were you driving like on? I was very confused because I was there too. We didn't run into each other, but like, did you take regular streets? I couldn't figure out what took so long because like Mike Malley went, he left at 3 and was there by 3:45. What happened?
I had a driver that was taking us, and he made a terrible mistake.
Getting his money worth.
Oh yeah, is he hourly? I mean, that could be what was going on there. Old taxi cab situation, you know what I mean? You run the clock.
Whoopsie-doo.
Well, you guys all know I can be suckered on these fronts.
Yeah, your helicopter wasn't working? What happened?
I will remind, it wasn't, although my wife was wanting one. My wife was craving one.
She wanted the chopper, huh?
I mean, 3 hours. 3 hours in traffic is.
What kind?
Did you dress better than last year?
Well, no one will know. And if no one, there was only one photograph. I only took one photograph there, so somebody's got it. It's a very valuable photograph. I was getting French fries.
Really? Yeah. How are the fries there?
Truffle?
Everything's very overpriced.
Oh
there.
my God! $35 for garbanzos and fries. Yeah. What? That whole thing is so vapid.
Where are you gonna go? Once they got you there,
That's
where
right.
are you
You're
going to
trapped.
go?
That is correct.
Who
But
eats garbanzo beans with their fries?
Yeah.
What the hell are you talking
Sounds
about?
nice, actually. I'm with Dan on this.
Weird.
Complete your protein.
Ketchup.
Buddy Hield was scoreless in Game 6.
So?
Just warming up.
So was not really the reaction there, Stugotz. I don't know what you think I was saying there.
It doesn't mean he's incapable of going 9 of 11 the next night. He's a shooter.
I'm saying, Buddy Hield, I want you to absorb how we do basketball analysis. Please. Golden State advance because they're tougher than Houston or whatever. Whatever it's going to be. These last games in basketball are tremendous, are they not? Like what we're headed into are the teams you want to see playing against each other. It's the 8 best of this, is it not?
I think most people would have taken Golden State and the Lakers, and they're getting Golden State and Minnesota.
Yeah,
it's still a great matchup,
I miss that. I miss LeBron not being
okay.
in
So that would have been a better series than Minnesota Golden.
This is still good though.
Anthony Edwards is fun. I don't know.
I would argue that Anthony Edwards against these guys, against Steph and Jimmy and Draymond and those attitudes.
Better than Luka and LeBron?
Yeah, because I think we all knew that Luka and LeBron was this sort of weird, it was almost this weird conglomeration of stars that didn't choose to be together, where it felt like this Butler, Curry, Draymond thing is one last ride for it. And now you have Anthony Edwards, who's looking to take the throne from yet another Western Conference superstar. To me, those two attitudes of teams against each other is going to make for better television than an actual series between the Lakers and Warriors would have.
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
We have some breaking news out of the college football world, gang, if you would like it.
Whoa, the Dookie! Wait a minute.
Seems like we don't have a choice.
Is this a Dookie bomb situation? Is this where are you? College football? You?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to expand my horizons this season, so we'll see. Maybe I'll, dabble in some college. Who knows? But this is from Pete Thamel. By the way, I had a thing not too long ago where the ESPN app. We'll get to the news in a second. The ESPN app, I don't know if you guys have noticed, plays some dirty, rotten tricks on you sometimes, right? Where you open the app and then you go to click like scores or news or whatever, and they have like an ad that pops up over the different options that you would normally pick on, right? So I don't know how this happened. It was one of those times. It's usually like order our UFC pay-per-view, and it's like I will throw my phone away before I'm going to give you $60 for a UFC pay-per-view. Like we're not doing that right now. But somehow I was trying to get some sort of breaking news or score update or whatever, and I subscribed to Pete Thamel. So if you guys ever have any Thamel questions, I have no idea how to unsubscribe to Pete Thamel, but the app tricked me into subscribing to Pete Thamel. So I'm a Thamel man, as they say.
No one says that.
Oh.
I thought that ESPN made it so that you couldn't accuse them publicly as a former ESPN employee of, what was it, dirty, rotten tricks?
Who they made that? Who? They didn't tell me anything. They didn't even tell me I don't work there anymore. I may still be an ESPN employee, honestly. That whole thing went down a very weird way. Anywho, so breaking news out of the college football ranks. Michigan head coach Sharon Moore is expected to be suspended for 2 games for the upcoming 2025 season as part of a self-imposed sanction based on the Connor Stallions investigation. So finally, some justice. Sharon Moore, who was not the head coach during that scandal, will be suspended for 2 games, self-imposed. And those 2 games, it doesn't say which 2 games. I'm assuming.
Just any 2 games.
Well, that's the thing,
2
right?
2 games of his choosing.
We always assume it's just 2 sequential games, but I guess there's no rules if you're self-imposing which 2 games. So if it's the first 2 games, it's New Mexico and Oklahoma. But if I'm looking at their schedule and I'm Sharon Moore, I say, you know what? I'll take New Mexico and maybe I'll coach a week, and then I'll come back and be suspended again for Central Michigan, or I'll hold off a little bit. We got Purdue in November. I'd kind of pick and choose my 2 games, right?
I would.
He dropped a dookie.
I would penalize myself for 4 halves.
Greg.
Oh, I like that 4 halves. It sounds like worse than 2 games.
Right, because it's a
4.
2-game suspension, but it's halves.
Yeah.
Or 8 quarters. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
8 quarters.
It's an option.
Greg.
Yeah.
All right, Stugotz is doing a private show for me here,
right?
Where he says, "Give him a break. His body hurts."
He's confused.
He's confused. Yeah. Give him a break. His body hurts from dancing too much this weekend. The thing that I want to address is that as that music was playing, what happened, Chris? Can I keep you here for just a second because we need to produce your father here? What just happened as you played the Dookie Bomb sound? Play it again for me if you don't mind.
He dropped a dookie.
Greg Cody was looking all over the studio, not understanding where all those sounds were coming from, and didn't lay out for Stugotz to deliver one of his signature rhythmic chemistry lines back when we were a show everyone loved of he dropped a dookie. And you just trampled it because you were looking all over the room scared of sounds.
Well, I looked. There's a frying pan back there. I glanced to the left. There's somebody beating a frying pan.
Yeah.
A bunch of noises I'd never heard before. Mm-hmm. I was momentarily stunned.
It's a dookie bomb. That's what a dookie bomb does. It momentarily stuns you. And so now be stunned, everyone. Jim Harbaugh went without penalty to great glory and fame. And Connor Stallions. And also Michigan's a champion, by the way. That's forevermore. And, never mind. Well, all that. Cheaters win.
Remember when we thought the NFL was going to prevent Jim Harbaugh from coaching in the NFL because he cheated?
That was a funny time.
I mean, look, what's happened to sports the last few years in terms of everyone realizes, everyone's just a greedy and no one can be punished because all these people realize they have their own power. And who's Belichick dating?
Well, no, Sharon Moore was punished even though he didn't actually commit any of the crimes.
That's right.
Right.
Well, of course, that's how that one ends.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Does Sharon always go down at Le Batard Show?
And does Jim always get promoted?
Yeah. You know what? That's good code right there.
Always happens to the bald guy.
That is good code. Just good code. Sharon and Jim. Yes. Does Jim in that spot always get promoted? And does Sharon get penalized? Yes, that's correct. That's America. That's life. That's sports. Hey, Trump doesn't know if he has to respect the Constitution. And Saban's going up to him and saying, hey, can you fix NIL? Sure. Executive order. Okay. Sure. Put him in charge of everything.
Is Sharon bald? I don't think he's bald.
I don't know.
I don't think that Stugotz understands the code we're talking about. He thinks it's bald related.
Always happens to the hat guy.
Well, it's also on
Cannonball! 2 Americas.
Yeah, well, Stugotz, I don't believe, has been keeping college football tabs the way Billy the Dookie is. Stugotz is.
I start keeping tabs in October.
I also, as I told you, it's not by choice. I subscribe to Thamel, so I get his every thought.
Well, so did you accuse ESPN of dirty, rotten tricks?
I would never.
Well, no, you. Oh, wait a minute.
No, I would never.
He still
do
works
such
there.
A thing. Exactly. They made me my employer.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. All right, I want to do an oral history on this. I want to know what happened there. At Le Batard Show.
I've confirmed he has hair.
Got an investigative report you did? So, yep, Sharon always goes down in that situation. He will get 2 games. He does have hair. Stugotz accused him of also being bald because he's a criminal now for what Jim Harbaugh did.
In Stugotz's defense, it was tough to find a photo without a hat on. A lot of hat wearing.
I didn't say anything about being a criminal. I didn't say.
But he's the one penalized 2 games. Penalized.
He wears a hat well. I will tell you that. Yeah. He rocks a hat.
Yes. No doubt.
Penalized 2 games makes him, in the eyes of the NCAA, a criminal. But that's just funny. It doesn't matter what you are in the eyes of the NCAA. They can no longer decide who is and isn't criminals. But here you got a 2-game scapegoat for a controversy we talked about a lot more than either of these penalties will last. There's a couple of documentaries about it.
I thought that the NCAA didn't really have power over anything anymore.
They don't.
So why are we even doing this?
That's why Nick Saban's going straight to the top. Mm-hmm. Hey, Saban, fix this. The players are getting too much of the money. All right, yeah, sure. Why couldn't we trust those 2 old white men in charge? That'll work out for everybody. And then Sharon will get 2 games. Let's do that for the rest of the time. And also maybe deport my parents.
What?
What?
Huh?
What?
I mean, you take 2 games.
We never do that. Not if the Constitution, I don't know, is the answer to whether the president has to respect the Constitution. And they're already sending people out.
It's like the worst I told you so of all time.
I don't think
Sucks.
these things are connected.
They're pretty connected.
But you take 2 games to be the head coach at Michigan.
Sure.
I mean, with a smile.
Yes, with a big smile on your face. Of course, especially if you're Sharon.
Are they paid or
those
unpaid?
jobs are hard to come by. And Jim's always get them. Yeah, of course. Old Jim's always going to get promoted.
Does he get his salary for these 2 games that he wasn't responsible for?
It's a great question.
Because,
it's a great question.
2 weeks off. I mean, come on.
I bet it's a paid vacation. I bet
Probably,
it's paid.
right?
Just, Sharon, you'll do this for us, right? Just go to the Bahamas. Maybe Buddy Hield will be there.
And Jazz. I mean, it's October.
Man, Bahamas has to do better there. Wouldn't we agree? That's not a great. I would have thought there would be.
DeAndre Ayton, man.
They have a ton of track stars. Just no one here knows track stars.
That's correct.
That's true
correct.
too.
No, that is the truth. That's of course the truth.
Bunch of Olympians, yeah, definitely.
Okay,
And I'm sure famous cricketers. Cricket's big in the Bahamas, but we don't do cricket.
Yeah.
Excellent work, Stugotz.
What I did.
Seriously, what did he do?
I wasn't talking about crickets.
Not crickets.
Buddy and the Crickets.
What?
Yeah. He's right.
Yeah.
He's not right. What
Buddy
is
Holly.
What,
I mean, come on.
All right, so
Wake
tell
up.
me more, old man who danced too much this weekend. Buddy Holly and the Crickets. What? I'm here since you don't do Back in My Days anymore.
Right.
I am here for impromptu Back in My Day. Okay, here the floor is yours. Buddy Cricket and the Hollies.
Right. Well, that's got nothing to do with Back in My Day because
Just give us 30 seconds. It is Back in My Day. What do
Okay,
you
well, Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
You just made a reference that was back in your day. And if you're not going to write these anymore, we should just do them.
I'm just saying, in the early days of rock and roll, late 50s into very early 60s, before we'd ever heard of Beatlemania, Buddy Cricket was a thing. His group was called the Crickets. Buddy Holly and the Crickets. I mean, they're Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, I think. And if they're not, they should be. I don't have that Hall of Fame vote, so I can't be sure, but I'm pretty sure. That'll be the day. I'm not just saying that phrase. That was the name of one of their popular songs. That'll be the day. Although it could have come off as that'll be the day they'll make me a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame voter. But, God bless Buddy Holly. Died in a plane crash. Most rock and roll stars of the day.
That's not true.
I believe he did.
More than one is not most.
Yeah, in Greg's defense, more than one.
More than one is not most. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is more than one most?
You mentioned more than one. They're in more than one Hall of Fame. They're in the Musicians Hall of Fame in Nashville.
Yes.
And they're also in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
There you go.
1986, the class of 86.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't have a Back in My Day today. I believe you over the weekend told me you had one.
Monday.
An idea.
It is Monday.
Oh, that's why.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Glenn Miller died in a plane crash.
Yeah.
Patsy Cline, Richie Valens. I mean, these are the names of the day, Dan.
Yeah, the Big Bopper. Am I the only one who's heard of the Big Bopper?
No, I've heard. I am just sinking into the golden marinade that is the 1950s with you.
Yeah. I mean,
And you just referenced a couple of things. We are people, please. Respect what is before you. An old man who danced too much this weekend after the release of setting his youngest son free so that he could forever be a toddler. Greg Cody no longer does Back in My Days on command. He writes books and republishes them, but he's in the emeritus status of his career. He doesn't just
He's earned it.
Yeah, that's right. He doesn't just write columns every week. He makes books, and if you'd like his work, he's not just giving it away here, even though he's paid for content to write Back in My Days live. But if you're going to make references that musty, because when did all of this happen with the plane crash?
That was 1959. But in Greg's defense, there is a more modern reference he's looking for with musicians dying in a plane crash. The lead singer and guitarist of Lynyrd Skynyrd died in a plane crash in 1977.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, a lot of those guys and women were 27. That's the magic age.
The 27 Club.
If you're 27, you don't want to leave the house if you're a rock and roll star or getting an airplane.
Buddy unfortunately left us at 22. Which is incredibly young for
Way
a
too
two-time
early.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Didn't you just say it happened at 27?
I think Jim Morrison died at 27.
I know Amy Winehouse
course.
died at 27.
Yeah, for sure.
Janis Joplin.
Loved Amy.
So what happened? Why'd you
Cobain.
get that number wrong?
Well, in one case, I didn't say everyone who's 27 dies.
Most.
He's mixing the overdoses with the plane crashes. That's what
right. Yeah, death's
he's not
death.
remembering.
Yes. Confirmed Jim Morrison, 27. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only the good die young.
Yeah, hello.
Thank
There
you,
go.
Billy. Very helpful.
Hello.
That's Lionel Richie. Yes.
No, that's Billy Joel.
That's Billy Joel. That's a big fine.
Billy Joel, what are you talking about?
Huge fine.
Only the good die young. Billy Joel, man.
I said hello is Lionel Richie.
Oh, okay, I see.
A lot of titles flying around.
Yes.
Few songs.
So we'll get the Back in My Days live. Yes, you're pointing at a picture of yourself that's off screen of you dancing at the wedding.
Right.
Go ahead and put it on screen, guys, and stop distracting my host. He's distracted by sounds and the sound of his own voice and whenever he's dancing.
They made me wear a boutonniere.
You look great, by the way.
He was complaining about the boutonniere all day.
Who's they?
I
Who's
don't
they
wear.
made
I don't
you?
wear a boutonniere.
Who's they made you?
You
Like
know,
if
the,
it's
the people, the
Yeah.
wedding planner, that whole thing.
The powers that be.
Who are the people? Wait a minute. What is a cabal? Who are the people who made you do anything as the 70-year-old? You didn't pay for this thing, did you?
A good portion of it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Did that hurt?
No. Hell no.
There's a price that he knows about, and then there's the real price.
Yeah,
That's how it
that's
works
true.
with him and my mom.
You broke even at the bar, though. I mean,
whatever
got my
whatever
money
he
for it.
thinks they paid, it was probably 20%
So
more.
a giant toddler set into the wild here after releasing his son. He has no idea what he paid, just enough to complain. His wife actually handles all the finances. If I showed him any of the numbers, he would be confused, run into the other room, and drink 12 Miller Lights.
He didn't even care about the money. He cared about the boutonniere.
Right. I don't like the look of a boutonniere. I think it's silly. It's a little accoutrement that's unnecessary.
So did you get rushed into fashion or bullied into fashion by your son's wedding planners?
Yeah. I mean, Tatiana, the lovely bride, picked out the color combination. I didn't even know brown shoes went with dark.
But you look great, though.
Thank you.
So you look better than you've ever looked. Why would you not accept that they made you look better than you've ever looked, whether you liked wearing what you were wearing or you didn't?
Well, my only complaint is about the boutonniere.
I think what you're saying is you would have looked good with or without that thing, right?
Yeah, sure.
You look good before you put it on. You would have looked good without it on.
No,
It's
that's
just
not
something
true.
you're always kind of adjusting because it falls,
Yes.
it starts to tilt. So like throughout the whole day, you're kind of always just adjusting
Exactly. I don't want to have
How
to worry
much
about
did
that.
your father dance?
it. More than I've ever seen him. Like I'm telling you, most weddings you have to pull him out for a couple songs just to get him out there. Like there were multiple times where I just saw him from a distance beelining, dancing his way onto the dance floor.
realize that this is an old man who appreciates life more than he ever has? This is the happiest Greg Cody you will ever see because his granddaughter was also there.
It might be his last dance.
Whoa!
I mean, he also got into the brown liquor pretty early.
My
I think
man.
he had 2 old fashions before we even got to the wedding. So
That's not true.
was it 3?
Oh, before the wedding began.
Yes.
We were at the wedding. It just hadn't begun yet.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
technically
at
you're
about
right.
3 p.m., the wedding started
Wait a
at
minute.
5:45.
Wait a minute.
You
Wait
were
a
in the
minute.
confines.
This is the thing. He's a toddler. He doesn't know how to drink, and he's got a lot of experience. Doesn't know how to do it.
I get that from your mother. She sees me with an old fashioned in my
No,
hand.
you don't know how to drink because 3 old fashions by 3 o'clock. You're humming, baby.
Damn right.
You're headed. You're headed to falling in the bushes, and
No,
you're headed to
that's not
knocking
true.
my brother's paintings off the wall
No, if there
at
were
his
any of his
original
paintings
art
there, I'd have
exhibit.
done it.
Right.
But no, I kept. I was very good the whole night until the ride home. There are allegations
threw
I
up?
did fall asleep on the ride home.
Chris, does your father know how to drink? Yes or no?
No, he does. I mean, he can put them away.
No.
He knows how to drink, Dan.
Beer.
He doesn't know when to stop drinking.
He knows how to drink beer.
Hold on. I don't think you understand what I'm asking you. I believe that your father will put together a cocktail of combinations that would kill anything that wasn't a creature that had the devil's feet. I'm telling you that your father can sustain it and handle any combination of drinks drunk from 3 to midnight, no matter what his age. Yes, it's a testament to his lifelong stamina because, yes, he can put them back. What I'm saying to you, he doesn't know how to put them back in a way that totally governs whether his wife will know at 11 p.m., whether he's in the bushes or in bed.
That is true. He doesn't know the combinations of what to avoid, when to mix, when to start with this, when to wait, hold off the brown liquor till later. No, he just, he gets excited. Father and the father of the bride offers him a Long Island.
What's he supposed to say?
There's where you careen into a real holy hell near Art Briles. 5 p.m. Here's the Long Island iced tea. No, Greg, no. But of course, he's the devil.
All right.
Wow, and that's the happiest I've ever seen the devil.
Those are wonderful feet. For the record, I never had a Long Island iced tea. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you had one.
But before the wedding, myself and my future in-law, a beautiful man,
right?
We had a drink together. It was a ceremonial moment. We both had at that bar, man. They make a wonderful old-fashioned.
He sounds wonderful. What's his name?
Mark.
Okay.
Mark Capote.
I thought he didn't know either. The way he was like, he's a beautiful man.
Well, his name is Marcelo, but we call him Mark.
Right.
Yeah, that ruins the joke.
Well, of course, Mark was drinking, man. It's on your dime.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Say no to Mark? Get out of here. Can't say no to Mark. You put it back, Jack.
Yeah, there you go. It was a lovely evening. A good time was had by all.
Okay, excellent punctuation.
Thank you.
LeBron. Oh, man. LeBron.
What about him?
Not at my wedding.
Yeah.
Or your sons?
Right. Definitely not at my wedding.
There was no reason for that. It was just a glitch in my system over 20 years in sports journalism. I didn't even have
just
a LeBron
pivot to LeBron?
LeBron.
I didn't even have anything to say there.
Just out of habit, you said the word LeBron.
I saw a report that he might want to come back here, but only if Riley leaves.
Oh, wow.
Wait,
what?
You jerk.
You just made up that report.
He did that,
report,
and then
though.
DK aggregated it. It was amazing.
Right? He's
He's a
genius.
I threw out a hypothetical.
So
I
good.
said, what if LeBron wants to, wrap up his career, end things the right way, reaches out to Mickey, and it's like, Mickey, I don't like how things ended, but I'm not coming back if Pat's here. I'll come back, and I'll bring KD, but Pat's got to go. What do you do?
Jeremy just whispered to me, I think Billy's the greatest of all time.
I think you might be the greatest to ever do what it is that you do, Billy.
Thank you.
I just want to give you your flowers. That's truly remarkable work that you've done.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Dropping dookie bombs.
And it caught fire, that story, because that's how much LeBron we have talked over 20 years. But the thing that I was actually going to say that is funny, as basketball kind of moves on without him and it's Luka's team, and talk about me and Bronny. MCL sprain, like if the timing on the details of that. And it may be true, but it also did feel as, let me grab one last thing here as the young people take the sport away from me because I'm the oldest player in the league. And I think most people would say as Steph gets to advance because Buddy made the threes and LeBron didn't have enough of those guys who made the threes even though they got Luka to get them.
Right.
LeBron's looking at the end of his career and he's now being left behind, right? Like that's
Yes. If Billy's wrong and he doesn't end up in Miami and Riley retires, I think he's going to Dallas. I do. I think I know what LeBron is up to. I think he sent Anthony Davis to Dallas. LeBron's going to go to Dallas. It's LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Kyrie, and then Luka doesn't re-up with the Lakers, and Luka also goes back to Dallas. How about that? That will be plenty of help for LeBron James. I like that. I think that's what he's up to, Dan.
I don't want to do that today. I think it's unfair.
You brought up LeBron.
I did bring it up, but
LeBron?
LeBron.
I didn't ask you to.
I'm going to do it 10 years from now. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it in retirement, walking on a beach in the 80s, in my 80s. I'm going to be LeBron.
When you wake up.
I'm just going to shout it into the sea. Yeah, 20 years. We've fed it this teat. LeBron.
So you're 70?
This is the whole. No, I'm talking about years.
Good question.
Thank you.
I do also like you said if Billy's wrong is so that I didn't just make that hypothetical up.
No, he's still not sure. That's because you're that good at it. That Stugotz is still confused whether it's real or not and wanted to entertain it as an interest. Here's what's actually going to happen with LeBron because he's going to be doing that in his 80s.
Let me see what Thamel's thinking.
Again, put on the poll at Le
30 years
Batard
for
Show.
me.
Is the ESPN app up to dirty, rotten tricks? I think was the accusation that was made. Please find me the video of Greg Cote falling into the bushes.
Please don't.
Because I'd like to play that here and talk a little more about how Greg went through life this weekend, because we haven't talked enough about how and where his body hurts.
Yes. Speaking of video, the video department told me we cannot replay the Lorenzo Charles dunk that we talked about earlier, but he did indeed dunk it. Okay. I mean, Derek Wittenberg trying to play that off like a pass instead of a shot is laugh out loud funny. But Charles grabbed the ball, both hands on the rim, and he flushed it.
Wow.
Slayed it.
He did slay it. What do you need? You want to know where I hurt?
What do you need?
Yeah, you were looking at me, and
but to do your job.
you hadn't asked me a question, and so I'm wondering, what do you need? If you're talking about where I hurt in my heart, Dan. Oh, yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Physically,
you hurt your wallet because Mark, that stiff Mark.
He just doesn't know.
No. I want to make clear
stiff.
I don't know whether Mark listens to your podcast or not. I want to make clear that both sides of the family, paid.
I'm accusing Mark of being a stiff.
No, that's not true. No, don't do that to me. No, he's a good man. I've played golf with him.
Nice. Who paid?
It was Dutch treat.
Nice.
Yeah, we both played.
Greg Cote is good at Dutch treat. Why is it a Dutch treat, by the way? Why is it called a Dutch treat?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Everyone pays their own way?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a Greg Cote staple, is it not?
No,
Greg
I'll pay for somebody else.
How often does Greg Cote grab a bill?
In fairness, I was invited to play in that round of golf.
What percentage of the time does Greg Cote grab a bill?
Pretty frequently. Yeah.
Yeah.
For your kids?
Yeah, I mean, pretty often. Yeah.
How about no?
Just paid a wedding bill.
That doesn't. I don't.
I mean, my wife comes. When you say, how often do I grab a bill, you're including my wife.
Well, forgive me for this intrusion on your family life. I don't think paying the bill for your family is paying the bill just because they're toddlers, you're toddlers. Your wife picking up the bill is something she's done the entire time I've known you.
Sure, yeah.
And so you picking up the bill for your family is not what I consider picking up the bill.
Okay.
I'm saying outside of that, how often are you in the company of others that aren't family and you're picking up the bill?
I mean, we did it at breakfast Sunday morning. We had a group of about 12 or 15 people.
It was the post-wedding with all the people in town breakfast.
Okay,
He's trying to get outside
do some
the
digging
wedding.
here,
Yes.
Can I talk to you? Chris, can we talk to your mom? Can we figure something out here? I think I can corner your father here because I'm guessing your father likes to appear more magnanimous than he actually is.
I'm a generous man.
Yep.
Contrary to the way you pigeonhole
I don't
me.
think you are, actually.
No, I'm a very generous man.
Let's call Mark.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
No, let's not.
How would Yeti say he's paid?
I think Yeti's very happy.
Fair. Wow.
Nice.
Hello, Dolly. Da da da. Gotcha.
Me, on the other hand,
Gotcha.
Yeah. It got you.
Generous with a capital G.
Yep.
Your signature line being I showed you and breaking out into hello, Dolly?
Cha cha cha.
It was
Gotcha.
Hey, get me like that all the time. I want to be got like that every time,
Yes.
where he just broke into ragtime, showtime, show tune.
I don't know why I said
He
hello,
did
Dolly.
chorus line. He was so happy, and his cha-cha came with one of those demon digits that he was pointing at my chest. And he was dancing to Hello, Dolly. Please, Jeremy, can you get me some more information on Hello, Dolly? I want more back in my days that are live, and just we can do a whole library of back in my days if we just get you more agitated.
I do have another update, though, because Richie Valens and Buddy Holly and all these plane crashes we were talking about, they all actually died in the same plane crash, which inspired the song American Pie.
Yeah.
There was a movie about
by
it.
Don McLean. Yeah.
Couple movies.
Day music died, not journalism.
Right. And by the way, I couldn't watch the Kentucky Derby because I was at the wedding. But journalism, the betting favorite.
Sad day for journalism.
Yeah, it finished second. And the weird thing is, journalism was beaten out by a horse named Internet.
No,
How weird is that?
No, that was not
Crazy.
the name of the horse.
Okay, but it
Crazy
should have been.
coincidence.
Well, but what's funnier about that, surely people are making they're doing the symbolism, right, of Sovereign being the winner, beating out journalism, like is actually happening in the real life, not with horses, but the political animals. Like, wait, surely that joke is being made everywhere, yes?
I hope so.
The idea that today, Stugotz, I've been wrong today on the Clippers. You know you have one wrong. Yes? Here or no?
I have one wrong. I was wrong on something?
No?
What was I wrong on?
Horse racing is dead?
Horse racing is dead.
Okay, biggest numbers in 25 years.
I don't care. I mean, wait for the Belmont Stakes to come around. If this horse who won the Derby doesn't win the Preakness will get big numbers. Okay?
What? Do you know the name of the horse? We were just talking about it. So.
Internet. And so I have no idea if that horse doesn't win, Internet doesn't win the Preakness, no one, and I mean no one, will watch the Belmont Stakes. Nobody.
The name of the horse is Sovereignty.
Oh.
And
Internet, not a bad name for a horse, quite frankly, and I say that as a horse owner. About to buy a second horse.
Really?
Yeah.
You're about to buy a second horse?
Yeah, I'm about to get into a second horse.
A filly?
Another filly. We like
Wow.
fillies.
Oh, yeah. I love
Yeah, we
fillies.
like
Gotta
fillies
love fillies,
because
yeah.
on the back end you get the stud fee and everything, and you know they give you a little puppy, you know, a little colt. It's all good.
Sovereignty beating journalism in 2025 in the Kentucky Derby as Stugotz sticks to his guns on horse racing's dead. But, man, more people watched it in 25 years. You know why? Because gambling's really popular.
Yeah.
The musical Hello, Dolly actually crushed at the Tony Awards in 1964, despite tough competition from Barbra Streisand's Funny Girl. Now, what's funny about that is ultimately Streisand would go on to star in the Hello, Dolly movie in 1969.
It's a beautiful coincidence that you just pointed out, and Louis Armstrong made a big hit record of that, Satchmo.
That's right.
Another beautiful.
Okay, let's
entertainer.
sharpen it up. Back in my day, we'll do them live every day. Like, we'll do them live whenever you want to do them. Just come in with whatever you got. Greg Cody bores you to death with historical nuggets from the 50s. That's how the Le Batard Show has decided to keep up in the internet age.
Greg, as a member of Team Valor and a horse owner, do you get better fees for fillies than for studs? Like stud fees?
Fillies have a longer shelf life.
Really?
Because when they're done their race careers, chances are they're gonna have babies, which depending on how well the filly has done in her race career, the babies may be a new generation of income.
Well, don't I have this right? That the only thing. Well, maybe I have this wrong. I think it's sort of majestic that sovereignty beats journalism in 2025 in a horse racing that everybody's watching as the world burns and the apocalypse goes. It's like, yeah, sovereignty is beating the apocalypse, is beating journalism. And I know these things aren't connected, right, Stugotz? Mm-hmm. None of these things are connected. Greg Cody is our horse racing expert, is lovely. Were not all of the horses in that race a descendant of Secretariat? All of them? Do I have that wrong? Is that incorrect information? I had someone text it to me this weekend, and it's not something that I even bothered to look up, and I should have, because it was just coming to mind now as Greg Cody was our horse racing expert. Stugotz sticks to his opinion that horse racing is dead. That's been the move for 10 years, and he doesn't have another opinion about horse racing, as Greg's a horse owner, but not a good enough expert in this realm to actually talk about a horse race that a lot of people were watching this weekend, but we weren't because Stugotz says horse racing is dead.
I would find it very hard to believe that every horse in a big 20-horse field was related to Secretariat.
Well, believe it, because Dan's information is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about
that horse got around, huh?
Yeah.
Jeez.
But again, that's the thing about the lives of horses living on. But bloodline is a big thing in racing. So if you can say, well, I'm a 5-generation descendant of Secretariat, that really increases the price of your horse.
These horses work hard, okay?
Will Chamberlain made his way around, and how many horses did Secretariat
sired more than 660 registered foals in his lifetime, with
Jesus.
several such sires or dams showing up in each Kentucky Derby horse's pedigree.
There you go.
It's funny as the sport of if you look at what it is you're actually doing there and the history of America as this race runs through this particular time in America where the president is on television saying, I don't know if I have to follow the Constitution. Like, that's a thing that's actually happening now, as he also talks about a third term, and this is the first year. Like, this is just starting as he shakes the world's economy. The fact that we're all looking at the history of bloodlines running in a race And just at the finish line, we're all watching because we need 1 minute of relief from the holy hell that is every day in this country these days. It's an amazing picture as sports art.
How far removed from Secretariat do you have to be? Like, how many duds has Secretariat put out there?
Well,
where it's like, oh, this is Secretariat.
Fails more than he succeeds based on only Stugotz's measurement of you got to win
That's
championships.
why it's less impressive to me when I hear he's done it 600 times. Like if I had 600
But I'm sure
kids,
those are all profitable. I'm guessing those are profitable businesses that are being sired there in each. Well, you tell me, business owner. I don't know. I'd actually be curious about horse racing's history and how we get to, like, Secretariat sires 660 horses. How many of them are winners? And is the secret really that? Just get those genetics in there, because I don't know what the failure or success rate is, but I do know that they are breeding that horse that way because they think there is commerce in that penis.
Right. And if the bloodline includes Secretariat, the horse will be more valuable at sale or at auction. But you put it in human terms, and it's like the horses running today. Secretariat was their great grandfather, right? So what are the odds that Secretariat's genes would last generation after generation after generation? That's why horses who have a lineage with Secretariat, probably a very small percentage of them are able to win major races, let alone Triple Crown races.
The last was born in 1990. I will tell you this, Greg. Lady Secret was the 86 horse of the year. That is a descendant of Secretariat, and Risen Star in 1988 won the Preakness of the Belmont.
Okay, but that's a lot closer to Secretariat's
right.
side.
Yes.
Now you're talking about, decades later.
This is probably a question for Ron McGill tomorrow, but so horse incest seems to be like a very prevalent thing, you would think, right? Like if everyone's related to Secretariat, a lot of these horses are products of incest, are they not?
Are we assuming or are we not assuming that these animals, while treated better than most, that this is probably an industry that is not the best to these animals, even as it's trying to take care of these animals, because these animals are a giant business for rich people. So one is led to believe that...
I'd love to be a horse.
Even at the rate they're dying?
Everybody dies.
Yeah, but dying on tracks, like because of what the upkeep on some of these things requires.
That was prevalent at an unnamed California track a couple of years ago. I think they've cleaned that up, and there are policing in the horse racing industry.
If you get injured, they kill you.
That's correct.
Humanely, though.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you fall and break a leg.
I want to be a horse.
Yes, I want to be a horse.
I mean,
both
do
of
it
you.
with care. They're gentle.
Well, there was money there, and Stugotz just went over there and was like,
If you could put me out of my misery gently, actually, you know what, Stu, I'm with you.
Stugotz doesn't like the part of just, hey, Stugotz, you're going to have to run really hard and fast the whole time. Just, can I have a bunch of sex and just win trophies and run occasionally and win the race, not finish seventh and break my ankle and get killed?
I feel like there's something we can do as a society for horses, right? Like you see little doggies, sometimes they lose a leg or whatever. They have like little wheels they roll around. Like there's wheels big enough for horses, are there not?
That's
Why can't we have horses with wheels?
That's a good question. Whether or not, you know what? I think that a horse, if it breaks its legs, like soon thereafter, like I don't believe that the bloodstream, they're fragile animals that way.
Yeah.
I think you break the horse, you're keeping it from a lifetime of misery, not just because it can't stand.
No, give it a wheel. A third wheel, a wheel over
Okay,
it, 3
fair
legs,
enough.
a wheel.
But
We can figure it out. We figured out
wheel.
everything.
A wagon wheel.
If they fall off that wheel, I don't think they're smart enough to be like, all right, let me relax here until they fix. They're just going to start panicking, and then all of a sudden,
Another wheel.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Should a horse that breaks its leg get a wheel?
As opposed to being murdered.
Yes, get a wheel as opposed to being murdered. I am told that video has now found the video. That video has found the video of Greg Cody saying that yes, I can handle my liquor fine. I believe Chris Cody made a lot of money at a Moss Miami by showing people secretly this video of Greg Cody. This is being revealed for the first time.
So he's over across the driveway, and he starts sprinting, and he's jogging, and he goes down.
It's raining, and
there he is, into the bush.
Down goes Cody.
It was wet.
It was wet. I slipped. Excuse me. And
It
by the way,
happens.
my son taking that video is the equivalent of watching somebody drowning And instead of helping them not drown, you're filming them as they go down.
And then made money off it, the way that they do off the horse races. And
correct.
And instead of breaking your leg, we continue to make money.
I lifted you up. I grabbed your arm. And
after videotaping everything.
If there was a situation where a horse was given a wheel,
this guy,
and then the race happened with a 3-legged horse with a wheel, would you bet on the horse with the wheel?
Of course.
It'd be like harness racing.
This guy,
Ed Garland.
What?
Do you know Cody and I did a harness race?
Yes,
Oh, no, we
true.
have.
Whoa.
I think we have that photo of my dad
and
somewhere.
I won, by the way.
Really?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And got accused of going too fast.
Hold on. Can I just show you guys the disconnect between the two rooms? Because Jeremy wanted to jump into Billy's arms because right at the end of where the clock should have been, he shouted Ed Garland. A joke funny to 4 people. But funny to those 4 people, uproarious. I assure you that Stugotz, Chris, Roy, and Greg Cody have no idea what that joke or reference is because they just jumped into song, and Greg remembered heroically that time he rode a chariot, and so he wasn't listening to anybody. He just wanted to talk about himself and that time he was on a. So you have no idea what Billy and Jeremy just did, a private show for 4 people. Right. You don't know what that joke was.
No, what was what's his name? Ed Garland?
Yeah,
Sounds like a baseball umpire's name.
He
That's
might
a home plate
have
umpire.
dabbled, honestly.
Yeah.
Put it on the
Garland.
poll at Le Batard Show. Does Ed Garland sound like the name of a home plate umpire?
Absolutely.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Miller Lights. Dan, you could argue no one has transformed the game more than this man. 4 championships in 7 seasons. A dynasty, some would say. But time doesn't wait, and questions started swirling. How much was really left in the tank? Facing the young, scrappy 2 seed, he had something to prove. And prove it, he did. That dagger 3. It reminded everybody who's who. And Dan, just like that, make no mistake about it, Steph Curry is back.
Roy, why'd you shake your head?
I knew he was going to go there. Steph Curry is back. Okay.
Thank you.
But it's Buddy Hield who's back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
0 points in Game 6.
Buddy Hield never arrived. He arrived last night. I mean,
he just showed up?
You can't be back if you never arrived.
That's a good point.
Thank you.
Okay.
Excellent point.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Can you be back if you never arrived? It's a good point. I can't. I
never left.
Now, Stugotz just checkmated everybody there. Like that, I believe he's got us. Buddy Hield had never arrived, and therefore he cannot be back.
Thank you. Speaking of back, I took a step back over the weekend and revised my top 5 teams most likely to take a step back in the NFL this year. How about that? Number 5, the Jets. 5-12 a year ago. That was with Aaron Rodgers. Now they have Justin Fields.
A step back?
They're going for Arch. A step back from 5-12, yeah. The Ravens. More to do with me thinking the Bengals are going to be great and the Ravens going to be a wild card team. Number 3, Detroit. 15-2, home field. They had their chance, Dano. Number 2, the Vikings.
Wait a minute. So that's it for Detroit? A step back?
A step back, yeah. Number 2, the Vikings. Unless they get Aaron Rodgers. In that case, they might win it all.
So wait a minute. Detroit, you don't explain to me what you're doing there. The best Detroit team we've ever seen was better than it's ever been, and you're just assuming they will take a step back and that their best chance is now forever blown?
Window closed. Yeah.
Wow. So it's not a small step.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Big giant step.
A big giant step? It's not
Yeah.
a small step back?
Yeah, big giant step. I have the Packers winning that division. As of now, this could change. I mean, again, I took a step back over the weekend. I looked at things, I reevaluated, and here we are. Number 1, the Chiefs. I could stay. Here come the Padres.
I can't kick you out if you talk Chiefs talk during the middle of weekend observations. Can we, you know what, actually.
Loophole.
Can we do weekend observations? Let's do weekend observations right now, the rest of it from the penalty box. Can we have him come back and forth? No? Can we not do that? No?
I mean, I'll do it if you want me to do it.
I'm just saying, if we're going to enforce the rules, he knows he's not supposed to do Chiefs talk. He just did Chiefs talk. Chiefs talk gets him expelled from the room. We're not going to respect the rules? Okay, great. Because it's easier not to respect the rules.
That run is over.
That's the Metal Arc way, baby. Woo! I wonder why Skipper's leaving.
He is?
What?
Really?
If you missed it, here come the Padres.
I didn't miss it. They've been here, though. I told you last week when you were telling me the Mets. The Metropolitans.
Best team in baseball before the weekend. After the weekend, not so much. Want to know why?
Because the Padres
Here come the Padres.
Yeah.
Mets took a step back.
They did. James Harden, Mr. Game 7, you are not.
He didn't even take enough step backs.
Imagine being the Rockets, losing to Steph and Draymond a decade ago, tearing your roster apart, going through a full transformation, coming out of that transformation to get a 2 seed, only to lose to Steph and Draymond.
Stugotz, when you look at the last 10 years of basketball, I don't know if this happened to anyone else last night. Jeremy, can you look this up for me, please? The James Harden story arc, when he was MVP of the league, and Daryl Morey has actually, with D'Antoni, established how the sport is played, because they were at the very front end of, no, we're going to just do it with threes. And D'Antoni tells Harden, I'm going to make you a 15-assist guy. You watch. We're going to win this way. All I need you to do is in Game 7 make the threes.
Right.
Against Golden State, didn't they have Durant's team knocked out? Wasn't that Houston team in a Game 7, all they had to do was make their threes, and at home they would have knocked out, was it a Durant champion in a Game 7? It was certainly a Klay Thompson, Steph Curry team.
Right.
But they went from 3? Because at the very forefront of playing that kind of basketball, Houston was ahead of everybody. Daryl Morey was going to rule the sport. And I believe in that game they went something like 7 for 49.
I think 7 is too many. I mean, I'll look it up. But
7 for 44.
Wow. You nailed it.
That's a 15.9 3-point percentage.
But that was at the very start of, oh, look out, Buddy Hield.
If someone calls me on the weekend, you know what I'm not doing? Answering. It's my weekend.
Put it on the poll. Do you answer the phone on the weekend?
Leave me alone. Jalen Green, bust.
Oh, come on.
I mean, you watch the game.
I will say, in that Game 7 that you're talking about, Dan, where you say, oh, Buddy Hield, players not named Durant, Green, Curry, or Thompson had 11 points for the Warriors. They won by 9.
Because, again, 7 for 44.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Kobe has a championship just because Ron Artest decided that was the day he was going to make the threes.
Yes.
Trevor Ariza, 0 for 9. Eric Gordon, 2 for 12. James Harden, 2 for 13.
Dan, you know what the B in Buddy Hield stands for?
Balls.
Big Shot Bob.
He's Bud. How can I got to find him. I got to send him to the other room. You can't.
I didn't want to make the same joke a second time.
That's not what happened
It's
there.
exactly what happened.
That's his nickname, Bob.
But put it on the poll. Is Buddy Hield's nickname Bob? Okay. It's a great way to cover up
the
that
H
mistake,
stands
guys.
for Ori.
It's like watching a cat
Buddy Hield.
in a kitty litter box. It's what I meant, Dan. Big Shot Bob. You guys, excellent work. You two are a real comedy team, the two of you.
We are.
Bobby Hield.
Finally yielded some dividends.
Yeah. Let's go. Hello, Dolly.
That's good right there. Is that in there? Did Taylor write that?
No.
Oh, wait a minute. So we
an ad-lib,
we got a live back in my day and a live weekend observation that's not starchly written and read on the same day? Ad-lib? Finally yielded some dividends is a T-shirt.
Thank you.
Back and better than ever.
Put it on.
Who's that?
Angel, sell that to the Golden State Warrior fans. Yielding dividends.
Klay Thompson walked so Buddy Hield could run.
Klay Thompson limps throughout retirement so that Buddy Hield could run.
Steph Curry, 5-0 in playoff series against the Rockets. You know what that means, of course, Dano?
I do not.
It means Steph has their number. Poor Rockets.
Steph's pretty good. Hard to beat him during this age. Only one guy was doing it consistently. It's hard to do.
I'm going to struggle with this name, even though Chris just told me. Mikko Rantanen?
Rantanen.
Rantanen. Scoring a Game 7 hat trick to eliminate the team that forced him out. Russell Westbrook with 16 5-5 to eliminate the team that traded him last offseason. You know what was on the menu over the weekend, Dan? Revenge.
Oh, okay. I'm
Served
sorry.
ice cold.
Oh,
Nice.
a Stallone poster.
Yeah.
Ice cold.
It is.
I mean, it must be.
Ice cold should have been a movie Stallone made.
Revenge served ice cold. Sounds like something that is the Stugotz IMDb.
Sporting Kansas City beat LA Galaxy 1-0 with 0 shots. The sport has never been more dead. No goals, no shots. I mean,
This is how it ends for the embittered sports writers and sports critiquers that view sports at the end and just call sports across the board dead. Horse racing and now soccer. World Cup is approaching. It's going to be a giant event, according to Stugotz, have been declared dead.
yeah, I mean, 1-0, no shots.
Lionel Messi would like a word.
Who wants to see that?
You proclaimed him a monster failure. What do you mean he would like a word?
I mean, Inter Miami has been a failure with him in terms of not winning major hardware. So far, his time is not done here.
They won that middle of the season tournament in the Supporters Shield.
Oh, yeah,
so.
that's right.
Well, the League's Cup was a nothing trophy, a brand new tournament that really doesn't mean much. And the Supporters Shield, that's like having the best record in the NFL in the regular season and then losing in the first playoff game.
It's like the
Nobody
President's
cares.
Cup. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that stadium is coming up fast.
Trophy, sorry.
That thing looks like it's going to be open next week.
It better be. You have a live report, like you've seen it?
I drive past it every day on the way to work.
And so you see it rising from
Oh,
nothing.
yeah,
It is going up very, very fast.
Very fast.
Suspiciously so. Some might say. Not me.
Billy,
I wouldn't say
Billy,
that. I didn't say it.
Billy, you've been watching. Billy.
Allegedly, I
said
didn't
some
say
might
it.
say.
Some might.
Some
Not
might
I.
say that.
Might say it.
I think they're doing a great job, all the construction workers out there. Support the troops,
Totally up to
the
code.
construction troops,
Billy,
and the Boy Scout troops.
we have a couple of arches going up. It's a $5 billion project. The amount of money that this city is spending stupidly.
That's a giant waste of money, if we're gonna be
Developing
honest.
things that
How
only
about you
go.
fix our roads?
Mm-hmm, thank you. And pay the teachers while you're at it.
Yeah, save the whales as well.
Those arches have been going up forever.
A $5
Manning.
billion project that makes it arches than St. Louis, not creative. Arches than McDonald's, not creative and not needed in any way. Nobody in Miami needed it, wanted it. It's just wasteful government work.
If you put some lights on them, though, they'll probably look pretty cool. You know,
It took up the parking lot at the Arch Center. Nobody can park there.
They have created
Arch Center.
Arch Center, please.
They have created a
Enough of
traffic
that place.
nightmare for 5 years. And Billy, you are right to be more suspicious of that. Our city cannot be trusted to build a stadium that quickly. Hard stop.
I mean, the good news is no one will be there, so no risk.
Looks like a causeway for bicycles. There's going to be like bikes riding over that. Just one bike at a time, though, because
Well-
it's very narrow.
Well, cars will not be driving on that portion of it, Greg.
Yeah, no, I see, because it's narrow.
It's decorative. It's not. It's a useless ornament in the sky. It's a vanity.
Did
that
you
Miami
think that's a
does-
bridge they're building?
Yes, he did.
I think it's going to be a bike race.
Yeah.
You know, based on what I'm seeing, I mean, it's wide enough.
Yeah.
With that
It's-
jump, too.
It's
yeah.
wide enough
Yeah.
for
Ooh, a fun
Yes,
jump,
yes.
yeah.
No, they're building a Red Bull ramp there for motorcyclists to do tricks on.
There you go.
Greg has no idea what he's looking at.
I'm looking at the
No,
arch.
you think it's a bridge?
Best arch since Manning.
There you go.
That's who the Jets are looking at.
Thank you.
That kind
Step
of thing.
back from the Jets.
Never has a thank you been so
He's
less
back. The
deserved.
Jets are back.
5-12 with Aaron Rodgers.
You got Justin Fields.
That's why they're going to take a step back. Justin. Soccer saying 1-0 instead of 1-0. Do me a favor. Get over yourself. Jesus Christ. sport. Harry Kane, do it in England.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Do it in the World Cup.
I'm not a lawyer.
It's
I thought
Taylor.
you were going to say, I don't know,
Taylor.
I'm not a lawyer, is what I thought you were going to say.
Not going to be quizzed. Nothing personal with David Sampson. Getting a second hour. I've always said, if you can add an hour to a show outside the top 200 in sports podcast, you add an hour to a show outside the top 200 in sports podcasts.
Sampson cut himself a good deal.
Of course he did. Steven Adams is a rocket. There's nothing like a derby on a sloppy track. You agree, right, Greg?
I do.
Much better that
Comley loves a soft track, so
Yeah,
I'm
of course it does.
partial to those.
Mm-hmm. You know what the D in Kentucky Derby stands for, Dano? Demise of journalism. Somehow Donovan Mitchell has found himself living in the comfy confines of No Expectation Island.
Those are good confines.
No one cares.
Those are good confines.
We did this Friday. It's the land of no expectations.
I changed the name over the weekend. I stepped back. I thought about it.
Made it longer, less
Yeah.
efficient, less funny, and dated and recycled.
Thank you. Winner of Pacers Cavs getting 0 calls against the winner of Celtics Knicks. Collision course. Phil Simms telling Abdul Carter he could wear number 11, only to then say, nope. Phil Simms, the Stugotz, is strong in you.
Pacers can beat everybody, too. If they make their threes.
I think
the
whoever
Clippers,
wins
yeah.
that series is beating the Celtics.
If they make their threes, the Pacers can beat everyone, too. I can say that of anybody,
You
right?
think the NBA wants the Pacers in the NBA
I know,
Finals?
Understood. I'm just saying that we've really I don't think I have this wrong when I say we've accelerated the sharpshooting math so much that whichever team makes the most of the 53s, a lot of them can do it.
Andrew Nembhard and them boys.
Yeah. Death, taxes, and LeBron James injury announcement seconds after he gets bounced from the playoffs.
LeBron!
I don't think I've ever spelled the word restaurant right on the first attempt.
Put it on the poll. Have you ever spelled the word restaurant right on the first attempt? That is such a good observation.
A tip of the cap to one Greg Popovich. Pop. One of the all-time greats. You can go coach D3 now.
I think he's going to be the president. I don't think he's going to coach.
Well, that was a chime for him to, reach his dreams. That's always his dream that he told us about.
You think Spo quickly reached out to the Spurs, do you?
It's a good job.
Rodney Buford.
It's a good job. Anybody want that?
Hey, I'm here.
Anybody want that? That seems like a good job.
Or vice versa.
If.
The Jimmy Butler trade saved Golden State's season. That and Buddy Hield. Pat Riley had Jimmy Butler and said, let me get him. Alec Burks and Terry Rozier. Scary Terry.
I got some Heat people mad at us for how we talked about Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero here recently as people who got those teams deep into the postseason, and second place is pretty good. Like, the Heat people are mad at how disrespectful they think we have been about talking about
I agree with them.
Jimmy Butler.
Did they get us
Really?
far?
Yeah.
Did they deny that Tyler and Bam have to be your second and third players if you're sniffing anything remotely?
That's a
championship?
different thing than the disrespect that was thrown at those guys, basically calling them nothing players.
I don't think anybody called them nothing.
Poor Heat.
Did
no
you
one
listen to
respects
this
them in
show?
this market.
Yeah, I do. Mostly when I'm on it, but no, I listen to the show frequently.
I saw Jaime Jaquez at F1. I was the only person that saw him. The guy could not have been more anonymous. Yeah. Like, he was just walking.
Other
through
people
the
saw him. You recognized.
I think he did a couple laps up and down, hoping that anyone would recognize him.
He looks a lot like Miami.
It was.
Oh,
I
so
felt
much
bad.
Miami.
Just so
So
Miami,
Miami.
dude.
Was
He
he
belongs here.
So did he belong? But he was fashionably attired, yes?
He was. I think he was wearing a denim outfit. Canadian tuxedo, some might say, but they were short, so I don't know if it was a Canadian tuxedo. But the point was, he was going up and back where all the, like the celebrities, the all the people of note were walking up and down, the Charlemagne's of the world, and he was not exactly getting the fanfare I think he thought he was going to get.
The thing that happened this season with usage rate, and I am not saying that Jaime Jaquez is this player, but because the ball and the touches went to Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez was pretty close under some circumstances of getting to be Latin Miami heartthrob that is the new Tyler Hero, because he's the one doing the scoring here. And so he went to F1. Oh, there's what losing does to the scent of people who would smell like cologne if there was winning here.
Well, no, I mean, Gordon Ramsay was walking around. Come on. Who are you going to talk to? Gordon Ramsay or Jaime Jaquez? Let's be real. No disrespect. I'm sorry. Heat, I'm sorry if you're listening. I did not mean to disrespect Jaime
Well, you
Jaquez.
recognized him. Good job by you.
Yeah, I didn't bother him. Also, I was drinking some Big Face coffee at the time.
There you go.
Pretty good.
The objection that the Heat have, such that it is you're all just going to pretend like money isn't what did that?
That's right.
Yeah.
A million pardons to the Heat on behalf of the entire show.
We love you.
Send us stuff.
The Royals had the fewest home runs this season, but then hit a franchise record 7 home runs in one game. Baseball.
Also, Aaron Judge is Barry Bonds now, because they've changed that sport too, where the home runs are like the threes, and it's just an insanity. Just an insanity.
Keeping an eye on that guy.
What do you mean you're keeping an eye on him?
Oh.
What does that mean?
Something's up there.
What do you mean something's up?
Just keeping an eye. He's not saying anything.
keep an
Just
eye on
watching.
him. I don't know what's up yet. I'm keeping an eye. I just started looking.
I don't know what that means.
More people need to be vigilant about the game. If not, we end up back in 1998 and all of a sudden a scandal. Had people been keeping an eye back then, what could have been? Now, we're not accusing, and I'm not even involved in this, so I don't know why I'm saying we.
It was right in front of him.
Accusing him of anything. He's just keeping an eye on the situation.
That's all.
Put it on the poll, please. At Le Batard Show, are you keeping an eye on Aaron Judge?
He has the 7th highest batting average through 33 games in the last 80 years.
Keep an eye on him.
Batting average. Hitting .432.
Also, Riley Green hit 2 home runs in the 9th inning the other day. Don't mind me.
He did?
Yeah, one dude hit 2 home runs in the 9th inning. Wow. It's never happened before.
He's hitting .432?
Yes.
Jesus. That was as of Saturday. Let me check. He probably went off yesterday, too.
No. He's saying that Judge is hitting
the same Judge. Yeah, same person's Judge.
I'm keeping an eye on Riley, though.
Well, he's hitting 274.
Sorry to tell you, it's now 423.
Riley Green.
Probably keep an eye off of Riley.
All right.
He's been doing plenty of that.
James Harden is doing a disservice to the name James. If your name is James, you have to be Big Game James. James Worthy, James Shields, Harden disrespecting the name.
Last 3.
Riley Green was an all-star last year. Who knew?
Last 3
Keep your eye on him.
James Harden elimination games: 2 for 8, 1 for 4 from 3, 5 for 16, 0 for 6 from 3, 3 for 11, 1 for 5 from 3.
Taking a step back.
Yep. Scotty Scheffler, chess. Everyone else, checkers. Eric Van Rooyen, the rare golfer, to finish second, shooting -23, only to lose by 8 strokes. That was not good for golf.
No.
You can't have a guy going 31 or 32 under par over the weekend.
How about you play a difficult course?
Exactly. And I don't want to hear them when they play the Open Championship in July. I don't want to hear about it. How difficult the course is, or the U.S. Open.
Right.
You get the greatest courses in the greatest conditions, so much so that Scotty Scheffler went 31 under par.
Abomination.
Embarrassment. When somebody shoots 21 under, the course loses. Bad for golf. That finished in second. Jordan Spieth was -19, lost by 12 strokes.
The whole leaderboard was like -20, -18. It was crazy.
Yep. Jimmy Goldstein, still alive.
It is a bit of a surprise.
We had a run with Jimmy.
It is. We did have a run with Jimmy. We flirted with him. He brought us courtside. What are you shaking your head about, Billy?
Last appearance, though, was kind of. It was definitely the last appearance.
Wasn't he on a beach somewhere?
Yeah, well, it was one of those where we had him, and they're like, "You sure you want Jimmy?" And we're like, "Yeah, it was lots of fun." And then we had him. We're like, "Ooh."
Yeah, those were golden reckless time.
Yeah.
A lot of things have changed since then.
If Jimmy ever dies, they should bury him courtside at an arena of his choosing.
If
he does. Big if. You agree? Bury him courtside. Arena of his choosing. It's Jimmy Goldstein, man. It's an NBA legend.
I think the reason we had him on is because we were trying to get him into the. No, I think we were trying to get him into the bubble during COVID, if I remember correctly. We were like, there should be one fan, it should be Jimmy, and we were trying to get him
We had
in.
2 runs with Jimmy Goldstein. That was one of them. The one before that was Stugotz just wanted to ride him for all of his celebrity friendships. Just keep bringing on Jimmy. Like he still has the number there, and it was just a ploy meant to feed at the teat of celebrity.
You want him tomorrow, or?
There's been worse ideas.
Not many. Only because Meadowlark manufactures so many of them.
Oh, man.
Should get buried in the wall at the Clippers games. That's how they do it.
Well, it should be under the court if you're going to insist
but under the
on
wall.
It. If you're going to insist on it, if it's not next to the arena. Next to the arena is insulting. Next to the arena is not an honor.
Then they remove the court for a concert. They're like, oh, look, Jimmy's here.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. He should be buried upright, like taxidermy comes into play here. You can't bury him.
All right, we've gone too far.
Why are we doing this? He's still alive.
I know, but heaven forbid.
This is not right the way that we're doing this.
So disrespectful.
We're speculating.
I was happy to see Jimmy.
Same.
He's a legend.
Yes.
That hat, Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Not him, the hat.
Yes.
That was unnecessary. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is Jimmy Goldstein's hat a Hall of Famer? First ballot?
I think so.
Like Joe Mauer?
Well,
No.
come on now.
Are we talking Hat Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Yeah. Deserved.
No. What is in the Hat Hall of Fame? Let's do this game. I want to play this. What is in the Hat Hall of Fame? We'll play it in a second.
Lombardi.
Okay.
No, Bear Bryant is before
my
Lombardi.
bad.
Bryant's in there.
That might have been
doubt.
what I was thinking of.
Jay-Z.
My bad.
Abe Lincoln's stovepipe.
No doubt.
When's the last time you read a book, Chris Gotti?
I listened to some books.
That counts.
Yep.
What the hell's reading a book have to do with art? Whatever those guys' names are.
Just a sense of history. the knowledge that gets retained when you read things.
LeBron?
Whoa, that's defensive.
Whoa.
What do you come back at me for that?
The only team in baseball without 10 wins yet is Colorado. One might say they're off to a rocky start.
So bad. They're so bad.
Russell Westbrook going back to Oklahoma City. All love. Jimmy Butler going back to Minnesota. No love lost. That's going to be a fun series, man.
Yes.
I'm excited for that.
I mean, this is where it gets face of the league stuff. Like, you talk about it for months, but no, Anthony Edwards, can you take them out? Because it's going to have to be you. Like, maybe it's Naz Reid, but it's going to have to be you. I don't think there's a way to take that. That team's built to ravage young people. That's whatever it is that you thought Michael Jordan had to go through with the Pistons. Whatever you thought Draymond in Houston was on physical. Now you're ratcheting up to this place where all of this started with Draymond and Gobert.
And then if it's a win over this team, then he gets either Jokic or Shea. This is a total battle in the West for the face of the league.
Yep.
So good.
Hockey fans love telling you how great hockey is more than they actually like hockey. Enough of it. Shut the hell up. Speaking of hell, Art Briles. Dan, those are the weekend observations.
You going to let him talk to you like that?
No. What the hell is the matter with you?
No, Roy's been saying it consistently. What I am railing against are hockey fans who aren't really hockey fans, who don't really love it that much, and they sit here and tell you how great their sport is. Please.
Ethan.
Thank you.
Enough.
Look, I don't want to talk about
That's what I was
Ethan
talking
anymore.
about.
It's a good point by Stugotz.
All right.
Thank you.
Do it in the Stanley Cup.
Thank you.
1993, if I'm correct.
Montreal, yes. Last time a Canadian team won.
If I'm correct, you know what?
The Habs.
The guy, very often, if I'm correct, is rarely said that condescendingly. He knew he was correct.
Yeah,
and
I
he
did.
said, the if I'm correct was just a light gallop at the end of,
Thank
I
you.
know that three's landing, I'm looking at your bench.
Yes, sir.
If I'm correct, he
Exactly
had,
right.
it was the slow trot of a champion horse, knowing it's correct.
Yes.
Yes.
I was preening.
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
layer beyond, if you will.
Damn
That
right.
particular condescension that people like to dress up, where it's like, I've got this thought for you, and then I'll offer it to you like this, if you will.
Bingo.
And it's just an empty thought, and it's not anything other than a flowery crutch that you're using that is meant to be charming, but is condescending.
It's like a home run, but it's not even a bat flip. He just lays the bat down because he's so certain
Yes,
this one's
yes,
gone.
he knows.
I've done it
Rare
before.
confidence,
Here we
right.
go.
As confident as he was that all of those rock stars, many of them died at the age of 27 in different plane crashes.
The magic age.
Hello, Dolly.
Da da da, Dolly, da da dee 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 dee.
A cha-cha-cha.
He's right.
Well said, Roy.
Forgot the cha-cha-cha.
It's so important. Why are you forgetting the cha-cha-cha? It's critical to everything. It was a finger point. And again, Nosferatu pointed one of those devil digits at me. It's sausagey and sharp, covered in barbed wire. As he ages, these things get drier and harder, and they have harder edges.
That's what she said.
Hey.
That's Slade.
What's going on with you the last few days? Slay. That's what, like, you're just
coming
who
off
are
a
you?
wedding.
He's
coming
found
off
a
a wedding.
fountain of youth. He's a toddler again. He's released his young boy to it. It's another person's problem now.
You know what I think's happening here? I think Greg, and I don't want to, I'm no psychologist here. I don't even play one on TV, but I think this may be a thing. Greg's sad, I think, that now he's lost his 2 sons to marriage. And I think that maybe Greg's thinking, you know what? Maybe a third. Maybe we go here a third son here or a daughter.
It seems like he gained a problem with his cheap father-in-law. I mean,
Oh!
Whoa, you laughed at that a little bit too vigorously.
No, if you're listening, Mark, the both sides of the family went in on this wedding. Believe me.
If you're listening, Mark.
love you, Mark.
Your dad has no idea what they paid for this wedding.
Well, my wife does.
Can we talk to
She
Elaine, please?
represents-
Enough with this. I want to get
She's
answers.
not going to tell you how much we
I want
paid
to
for
get
the
answers
wedding.
to my questions, and I want to find out how generous you actually are. And I want to play what would have been funnier an hour ago, the video of Greg Cody with audio, because him falling into the bushes is only funny if you play it with the audio, and you can hear him careening through the darkness, clearly drunk.
What are you doing? Did you fall? Oh my, Dad! Greg, you're gonna hurt yourself! What are you doing?
So embarrassing.
Filming
it.
Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
While filming
Give me
it,
your
he
other
says
hand. Hold that other phone. My God. All you did was drink beer.
Is Greg the drunkest person in this video?
It's a fair point. I mean,
I still have that shirt.
It should be dissected.
All you do is drink beer.
I don't think we've ever heard the audio of that.
Chris is hammered.
Yeah.
That
That's
laugh.
just me.
That's just a producer with a hefty tongue at the beginning of the hockey playoffs. That's all that is. I have a question for you guys that I learned over the weekend the answer to. I had the answer to wrong. I know we've talked before. I did not know that, and put this on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show, even though we've done it before. Can you get a DUI for riding on a bicycle? This is not the part of the story that I'm revealing. But I did not know until like 5 or 6 years ago when we were talking about it that you could get a DUI on a bicycle, you could get a DUI on a horse. There are funny things.
Especially one with wheels.
Yeah.
Especially those, yes. Well, of
More
course,
dangerous.
even more so.
Yes.
It's a bigger fine because it's got a wheel.
A golf
and
cart,
it's
I think.
even more of a vehicle. That's correct. If it's got 4 wheels, I imagine it's just a vehicle and not even a horse anymore. Right? At that point, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. If a horse has 4 wheels for tires, is it no longer an animal and now just a vehicle? Because that's what horse racing is, so you know. Let's get Secretary of Sperm and have a bunch of rich people celebrated for the bloodlines, and let's just put, we can't put wheels on the animals? Okay, just keep whipping them and then kill them when they get injured.
Well, I mean, not to dissect this too much, but I think a horse needs at least 1 wheel to move because it doesn't have a motor, so you just have to be pushing it if it had 4 wheels, right? You wouldn't bet on a 4-wheeled horse in a race.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Would you bet on a 4-wheeled horse in a race? You're right. You would have to push it, and it's dangerous back there behind the horse.
Well, it can't kick you, so.
That's correct.
That's
can
an
wheel
advantage.
you. It can wheel you,
Yeah.
though, couldn't it? I mean,
Yes.
I imagine those glutes are pretty strong still. No?
All good questions for McGill tomorrow.
Yes, put them all down. Go ahead and put Greg Cody in the harness race up there. He's delighted watching in the preview all that he is watching there.
Wearing deck shoes, of course.
Yes, of course. Those are the lamented and buried deck shoes in the backyard.
Deck
correct?
and Declan, yeah.
Yeah, those are the late greats.
Deck and Declan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Deck Cody.
Yeah.
How long did you have those boat shoes?
Probably 15 to 20 years. High mileage.
Yeah.
High odor.
Well,
did you ever wear socks with them? Once.
No, I never wear socks with deck shoes.
You're proud of him. Now I want you to imagine those talons gathering heat, leathery talons.
I've touched the talons.
The Nosferatu's devil digits. I want you to imagine those in boat shoes for 20 years. I'm guessing that those talons actually shredded the inside of those shoes. That the leather of those boat shoes could not hold up against the rigor, the leathery rigor of those toes and toenails.
It's true. No, you're right. I have cut holes in shoes before.
Because he doesn't just wear them out. He will do his sprinkler work in the yard, so they get wet. He will wear
it's
those
disgusting.
shoes.
You do not understand. Listen to me. It can't be surprising to you that what is buried in the backyard of Greg Cody is the devil remains of the armor that did not survive those feet. Mm-hmm. Died a hero 22 years in, Deck and Declan.
Yeah.
But were ravaged to death by the feet of the devil, because the feet of the devil had to be carried for 22 years inside of socks and while doing gardening by a toddler who will not put on socks and will not take care of his feet. And now is free because he's finally pawned off his youngest son to a woman. It's her problem, and Mark's.
Mark, this guy.
Old cheapo Mark.
No, don't go there.
That's a bit of an attitude. Call him Groucho.
Mm-hmm. Groucho Mark.
That's right.
I like it. I like where you're going, Billy. I like what you're thinking.
Good ally for you there, Billy.
Damn right.
I hope you're proud of your joke.
You know he's a musician too, Dan.
Let's play for
Plays
the
the
people
harp.
here. I want to show you Billy Gill's. Billy Gill's happy thing. I couldn't see that one coming. The way that you
Harpo
set
Mark.
it up for yourself. Find the third Marx brother, and it's why Jeremy thinks you're the genius you are.
And like Groucho Marx, Leonard Skinner died in 1977. Wow. So it's all coming back around.
Yeah.
Circle.
Wow. Synchronicity.
How do you feel about that video, that betrayal? You did not want that aired. We have played the video of your heavy-tongued son mocking you and not helping you. You don't know how to handle your liquor. You mix ingredients you should not mix, and sometimes you fall into the bushes.
I don't like that video was played. I'm not proud of it. I'm not intensely embarrassed because it's not like I was driving drunk. I was a passenger. But that night, I couldn't handle my liquor. At the wedding, I did handle my liquor. And there was no problem at all. I did not mix my drinks, that kind of thing.
Can you tell us more about the funeral?
I buried the shoes in the backyard.
The cat, and that's also a cat. You've also buried a cat.
There's a couple of cats.
The cat's back there as well.
A couple of cats back there and a couple of shoes.
Cats
I think
and a cradle
Ernie's
and a
back.
silver spoon.
Okay.
What?
Ernie's back there, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and do it. Give me the Back in My Day music. Let's see. Silver Spoon, he's doing Cats in the Cradle, 1977 is where we go back with this live Back in My Day
Harry
right here.
Chapin. Harry Chapin had two big hits. The other one was called Taxi. And the thing notable about Harry Chapin's Taxi is that it was a very long song, like a 7 or 8 minute song.
As long as a Best Man speech that's too long.
That's right, exactly. 7.5 minutes, same length.
Did Pitbull remake that song, or that's a different Taxi?
It's got to be a different Taxi because Harry Chapin's Taxi is sort of a mournful, slow song. Tells a story, though. Nobody could tell a story like Harry Chapin, and he's another one who died prematurely. And now his son is carrying on his name, not succeeding at all, but, he's trying. So you got to give him credit.
Excellent work.
Thank
We
you.
can get more of these every day, just references he's making. Billy, I want to hear more about your F1 experience because I saw something my wife I've never seen before. She doesn't do this. She announced that she hated DJ Khaled more than anyone in the universe.
Wow.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Why?
Was that on the
why?
record? Leaky faucets are
On
here.
the record?
I mean,
Because
Big
of how he represents Miami.
I think he's going to have a street named after him, if I'm not incorrect. I'll look it up. I think Uncle Luke's street was named after him this past weekend. Shout out to Uncle Luke.
That did happen, yes. Fought the Supreme Court and won.
So why does she hate DJ Khaled? Did she see him?
Because he's DJ Khaled. Because he's
Another one. This episode is presented by Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York.
I need some help here from the group because I don't feel like in this rumbling, tumbling train that we have here that has a lot of distractions that I've gotten to the things that I wanted to get to that include me being stopped on my bicycle this weekend by a police officer. But
that was headed somewhere, huh?
Well, that often happens around here. There are the occasional derailments, and then you got a Hello Dolly song, or Billy wants to ride off into the distance with the Marx Brothers, and
We didn't get to Carl because, problematic politics.
That's right. And then next thing you know, Ed Garland is what you're talking about.
That's right.
So,
Well, when you bring up harness racing, you got to talk about old Eddie G.
Ed Garland, for those of you who do not know, I got a lot of video and pictures from Billy over the weekend. It was a lot of warmth. He serenaded me with his old teacher, Ed Garland, who is now a harness racer.
Well, no, he was at the time. Pompano Park, Greg, that's where you did the harness racing, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's where
indeed.
you go.
I've
From
kept him
Hoboken.
alive.
Yeah.
I've kept him alive, and he's dead.
Who?
Ed Garland?
I don't think so.
Oh, because I think that's what you were just saying to me. I thought that's what you were saying, that old Pompano Park, he was a harness race rider?
Retired.
Yeah,
Yeah,
retired,
retired.
I'm assuming. Yeah, he may still be doing it.
But he also may not be alive. You don't know, or he is alive?
I think he is.
Okay, but you don't know.
Well, I can tell you, I don't want to betray a source here, so I won't tell you a source, but I know that some of the images that you got were from a Facebook, so I'm assuming that it's active.
But they were old images.
Well, he's an older gentleman now.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I was
all
in
he
school.
has.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, that was the Ed Garland reference for the people from last week who didn't get the joke that Jeremy and Billy found so uproarious.
You got it because you're explaining it.
I got it because you bombarded me all weekend with Ed Garland photos because this is who you are.
I was just trying to give you context.
You're not trying to give me context. You
Okay.
like grabbing your jokes.
No.
That you weren't trying to bother me this weekend.
No, I was trying to have a shared moment.
Yeah.
In Billy's defense, he was just trying to provide extra information for you for the context of who this harness racer was that he
Yeah.
had referenced before,
'Cause you
so that
told
today
me-
you could get the joke.
You told me that there was lacking context, so I tried to, provide the
I
appropriate
told
context
you not
necessary.
to make the Ed Garland joke. I told you
That was your
not-
first
yes,
mistake,
I
telling him
told-
not to make it.
No, he'd already made the.
Well, I
Ed Gar-
didn't get that.
Yeah.
I didn't get that memorandum. I'll go
Right.
through my files, and moving forward,
No,
I
but
will
I've
not
been
make any reference to
I've
Ed
been
Garland.
trying to give you that
Ed
memorandum.
is not dead.
Good for Ed. Mr. Ed. That was a horse.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Of course.
Wilbur.
Classic.
Let's do another back in my day right now on Wilbur, the Mr. Ed. We can do this all day, people.
Don't forget about your bike.
When you get him, thank you, Stugotz. Thank you. Let's find out the. Let's find out the origins of Wilbur. He was just impersonating somebody trying to say a horse's name while neighing sort of like a horse.
Well, Mr. Ed was one of Greg's favorite sitcoms in black and white when he was in his like 9 years old.
Third person child Greg Cody or different Greg?
Yeah, young, very young Greg.
This was your childhood television.
Yeah,
a
it was
talking horse.
I remember distinctly it was in black and
But you
white.
remember it the way you remember Wilt Chamberlain's video game, 100-point game that you don't actually remember because it wasn't televised?
No,
Or
better than that, because Wilbur was a talking horse. No,
Mr.
no. Mr. Ed was a talking horse, and Wilbur was his owner. And the joke was Mr. Ed would only talk to Wilbur. And then when Wilbur would say, I have a horse, he talks, and then he'd bring somebody into the shed or to the stall, and of course, Mr. Ed would not talk at all.
Right.
Okay, but while I'm on this subject...
Always taught at the wrong time.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
But you being arrested while on your bicycle...
I didn't say that. I didn't say I was arrested.
I think that's the rest of the story. We'll hear that in a second.
Drinking
But
and riding, right?
It reminded me, George Jones, the legendary country singer.
Bones Jones.
I don't know exactly when this was, but George Jones, he had his license suspended, and he wanted to drive to a liquor store, so he decided to drive his riding lawnmower to a liquor store and was cited for DUI on a riding lawnmower. So that just goes to prove any vehicle will do. Now, on with your story.
What's really amazing about that, Greg, is the first episodes of Mr. Ed aired exactly 1 year, 11 months, and 2 days after the death of Buddy Holly. How about that?
You don't always have to talk like a broadcaster.
Sorry, I was broadcasting baseball games over the weekend. It broke my brain.
Great coincidence, huh?
It is.
Buddy.
Jeremy's working too much.
It's good to know, Jeremy. Thank you.
You think?
Thank
Well,
you for
let's
that.
talk about this because Jeremy was at the center of a very nice moment. It was lovely this weekend in that the Marlins had a legitimately fun ending to a game. Mason Miller throws 104 miles an hour.
Everyone does.
No, not every. I understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying.
A lot of heat out there.
Aroldis Chapman's still out there throwing 104 somewhere.
Look. I will tell you this because I really do love this sport because the Mets have a single A player who is throwing 104 miles an hour, and I cannot trust a single A player with that kind of arm. I'm telling you right now that even if I were a professional hitter, I would refuse to work under those circumstances. A single A pitcher throwing 104 miles an hour where he doesn't know where that ball is going yet? No, thank you. That's not a sport I'm playing. That's happening in single A. The arms are bigger and stronger than they've been, but this Oakland A throws harder than any human being throws a baseball.
Not in Oakland anymore, in Sacramento.
Okay, so wasn't this home run? Wasn't this grand slam off of Mason Miller?
This is off of Mason Miller. It's a pitch over 101 miles per hour that Kyle Stowers at the top of the zone gets on top of and drives.
Yes, so it's not just all of this. Okay, so you've got 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. It's the dream scenario. The bases are loaded, and the guy throwing hard. You take him opposite field, right? And I think the way that I heard the announcers call it, this sport can be tricky for the announcers that way. They didn't initially know that would go out opposite field that way, and they were worried it was just a fly ball, and then they realized, no, that guy throws 104. If someone makes contact, it's going to also go out very fast. And so you end up getting this audio.
Swinging a ball lifted in the air, deep left center field. Stowers, no way! A walk-off grand slam. This kid is unconscious. No way did he do that. This place is going bananas.
Wow. Actually sounded like a decent crowd.
And listen to this. It was a great moment. And in the middle of it at the end, Jeremy, who's working too hard and still in broadcaster voice, he discards all semblance of journalism and simply embraces Stowers. Yes, just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
me. Yes, that's not.
That a boy?
That's not.
Shake, a little half hug.
That's not.
Congratulate the man.
Smiling
He just hit a walk-off grand slam. I think I'm allowed to give him a little high five.
Look at the face, though. Look at Jeremy's face. He's so happy.
Yes, but
that's my first major league win.
I don't think
my first major league win is a walk-off grand slam.
Jeremy does this with the basketball games. Dude, does Jason Jackson keep his record?
That's my win.
I'm just saying,
that's my
Jeremy
first major league win.
All the Heat games, he's like, I'm 9-2 this year. I'm like,
yeah. Well, when the Heat are like under 500 at home, it is kind of peculiar that I get to have an over 500 record.
I mean, Waslow thinks he's a 2-time champion.
I mean, come on. I'm not allowed to be excited about a win.
I was just going to bring that up. An unnamed broadcaster whose name begins with Z in his description says 2-time NBA champion. Really? What'd you do to win those championships?
You really pounced on that, huh?
Yeah, that's been in my craw for a little while.
You don't say.
Glad I brought it down.
Come on, 2-time NBA champion, please. Okay, I covered both of the Marlins World Series. Am I a 2-time World Series champion? Are you kidding me?
Do you have a ring?
I mean, I have a little replica ring, as a matter of fact, because at the time I had season tickets for my family, but never wore the ring.
Why do you hate Zaslow?
I don't. I just think it's fun. I think it's hilarious, patently ridiculous that any broadcaster in his self-description would refer to himself as a 2-time champion because he broadcasts those games. You didn't win a championship. You described a championship. You're not a 2-time NBA champion. And that's nothing personal against Zaslow, because I would say it of any broadcaster who referred to himself, as an 8-time champion because he broadcasts those championships.
I haven't been there yet.
I
haven't been there yet, Greg, but I will say I sure felt like a winner after that. After a walk-off grand slam where they're throwing a Gatorade bath on top of the player, and then he's coming over to me, and we're sharing in what the emotions are after that game. It makes me feel good. I don't know if I would consider myself a champion if my team won.
Right.
If the team that I'm broadcasting for all season long and go through that every single game ultimately gets there, it's a marathon. Like you feel like you did your part, I would imagine, if you're Jonathan Zaslow. At the same time, no, he did not win them the championship. The players on the floor did, right?
I totally get what you're saying, because you're paid by the team, right?
I am not.
Okay, you're
this
paid.
keeps coming up for
I'm
poor
really
Jeremy.
sick of that one.
Keeps coming up.
Okay, but you are paid.
Let's just move on. It doesn't
I am
matter who
paid
pays
to
I
us.
think
cover
we
the
should
team.
talk about Jeremy more.
Yeah,
I think
well,
we
this
shouldn't
is-
talk about who pays me.
This is this is the dream scenario for Jeremy and narcissism and slapped on the ass and first major league win. And I'm 9-2 in these games, and he's an up and coming broadcaster. And this is how journalism is done now. And Zaslow is an up and coming broadcaster. Nosferatu, Devil's Feet, and they're here to do journalism differently than you do it.
Okay, can I ask you a question? In all seriousness, am I wrong here? Do you think that a Zaslow, just to use a random broadcaster, when you see that he describes himself as a 2-time NBA champion, you think what?
I think it's funny how people wrap their identity in sport.
I have a question. So, and Jeremy, this question is not for you; it's for us about you. So, in a walk-off situation, most reporters try to evade getting the cooler dumped on them. Jeremy was hoping
love
and
it.
moving
He would
towards
love
it,
it.
right?
Running
Like,
towards
he
it,
tried
yeah.
to
Make
push
it about me.
Stowers
Make
out
your-
of the
make
way.
your
Dump
grand
it on
slam.
himself.
Come on, guys.
Make your grand
Looking
slam.
at-
I'm surprised he wasn't Chris Bosh in the championship.
I was
locker
so
room.
mad that they poured the Gatorade on him before he came
Yeah.
over to me. He took off his jersey and they just like did it on top of the shirt before, and he got his solo moment. I was like, come on,
If
man,
we
get in
can-
my suit.
If we can see this again, we can see the jocular lack of intimacy in a hand to the right side, but Stowers is immediately off to other things. Watch, he goes off to the left. He's not interested in having this joyous moment. Like Jeremy's in the middle of it. He can spill into it. They can have some fun together, but he's going to get off and out of that situation as fast as he possibly can. And I'll slap you on the ass here real quick. But Jeremy seemed very eager to jump up into the arms of Stowers, and Stowers is like, my teammates are over here on the left. I'm going to go, I'm going to greet this person because I have to professionally, contractually do an interview here, but I prefer to be with people I like more than this.
Nah, that's my guy. His in-laws were sitting down the third base line. He had to give a little wave hello. I mean, come on, you got to do the work that way.
Indiana Jones Hat Hall of Fame.
Well, this is, thank you,
Oh,
Billy,
wow.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Who else? All right, so Hat Hall of Fame, thank you. That's one thing I haven't gotten back to, and there was another thing that I wanted to get back to. The bike, but also me being wrong about the Clippers. I wanted Stugotz to make a sort of thong song today about me being wrong, but Jeremy swooped in and knocked him out of the way and said, I want to make a song about
Well, plus,
you being
we've already
wrong.
done this.
You're wrong, wrong.
We've already done that, but we didn't do it with Stugotz. I think Stugotz trying to do it would have also been good, but Jeremy didn't have any time for it. So he wanted to make fun of me before everyone else made fun of me about how wrong I was about the Clippers.
He's had real faith in those Lions, yeah, and also Mike Lennon, and now it's James Harden. Even though Dan knew we cannot ever win Game 7s, Dan believed in the Clippers. It's Harden and Zubats and Leonard. Damn, Dan, you should've known better. Dan believed in the Clippers. Bogdanovich and he's bitching and Powell should've just thrown in the
I was
towel.
4 for
Dan
11.
believed
Norm
in the
Powell.
in the
I was so
Clippers
pissed off.
against his guy Jokic.
You got to go over
Just
17 and a
wanna
half
be
there.
noticed. Dan believed in the Clippers. I think I know why Dan believed in Harden. They both got tummies that softened. Dan believed in the Clippers.
It's infuriating. I mean, he's going to be one of the biggest chokers of all time, right? Like just reputationally, where when we look at people that you can't even take the stigma off of them, who's going to be going in this class? You are the MVP, but when it comes to the end of games, you're going to go 7 for 44 from 3 when you got a chance to beat Durant. When you got a chance, because Stugotz, the history of all this, if you're watching the last 15 years of this insanity, Oklahoma City in these 15 years since LeBron teamed up with Wade and Bosh, you had OKC, you had Harden, Westbrook, and Durant. It's crazy that they're all still in the league in various states of disrepair. But on that team...
And Westbrook's the only one still playing?
Well, yes, Westbrook's the only one who's still got games to play and getting texts and describing the Westbrook experience correctly when he says, yeah, you're going to get turnovers and steals, and I'm going to miss threes, and I'm going to make threes, and I'm going to dunk, and I'm going to miss threes, and I'm going to make threes, and I'm going to run around, and I'm going to steal. And
I'm Russ.
And I'm going to be, somehow I'm going to be just more fast twitch muscle fiber than anybody. even at the end, because this part's just super weird to me, like when we talk about how these guys have aged. Of course, I thought that game would age poorly. He's one of the worst three-point shooters in the history of the sport, but he scored 44 points in a finals game back when Durant and Harden were on his team, at least in part because he knew back then Harden couldn't be trusted.
Yes.
Everybody did back then. Harden vanished then.
I'll take these shots.
Of all the ones you've seen Harden vanish from, the one that people least remember is OKC, when Harden was great all season and then would not be heard from at the end. Heat OKC. And now look at everything that's happened since, which is Harden has a hell of a lifestyle, man. Great fun. Huge fun. MVP. And I'll collect checks the rest of the time. And Game 7, I won't be there for that one. You guys handle that one yourself. I'm going to just hang out here on the perimeter. I'm going to get 2 free throws. I'm going to get a bunch of assists, but I'm not going to actually control the game.
He was sitting back like Kawhi's got this one, and Kawhi didn't show up either. I mean,
well, it's not that he didn't show up. It's that they know that they don't have to bother with Harden.
Well, when it comes to Westbrook,
double teamed him.
I mean, they made the game very, very difficult for Kawhi Leonard.
I just think that we should celebrate Russell Westbrook because this guy, understandably, because of what ended up happening and sort of the steep drop-off that happened quickly in his career in terms of efficiency, we sort of wrote him off as, oh, he doesn't deserve this and he's not that and he never won on his own. In an era where Steph Curry was the most entertaining player, bar none, Russell Westbrook was the second most entertaining player, and he was in series after series that were interesting. He's been a part of all these different teams that have either lost in big moments or won in big moments or upset teams that should have won. And he, in this game, that moment with the breakaway dunk with the technical foul where he's yelling at the crowd
it's 3 years
and
of rage.
getting them out of here.
4 years of rage.
That's as entertaining as anything you'll ever see on a basketball court. I love that guy.
I have described him for a long time as like playing sort of like a radiator hisses and the defiance of the last 4 years. I can't imagine how – we talked about the way that Giannis faced disrespect. I can't imagine how great it felt for Russell Westbrook, MVP, average a triple-double, to tell everybody in America, go bleep yourself. You don't have any earthly idea how great I am at this thing that I do. And just because I have the audacity to age, and it's tough in this league of competitive people to age, all of that came out in that moment. But I just can't believe that history will remember Durant and Westbrook much differently than it will remember Harden, because this is a really, really excellent player who not only chokes in big games, but when you said that Westbrook and LeBron, entertaining games and drama and whatnot, and exciting to watch, Harden ruined the game aesthetically. Ruined it. Like, started right there with, oh, you're going to do all this stuff with usage rate and three and fouls, and you're going to just keep running into people. And so it's not only we're going to hate him for not being big in the big moments, it's that in Game 7 you can't do your dirty tricks of getting a bunch of fouls either because you're not actually involved in the parts of the game that require the heaviest lifting from a number one.
After another one of these, can the 15-year-olds on the internet who are trying to say that James Harden is better than Dwayne Wade just shut the up
okay,
I mean, enough.
Enough. I'm done with this guy. It's just unnecessary. Cursing from, what is that? Like, get out of here.
On behalf of Amazon Prime's own Dwayne Wade.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, spreading propaganda.
Just stop with the Heat stuff everywhere, man. Like, we don't need it everywhere and everything that we're doing, soiling every opinion.
He's not paid by the team, though.
He makes that distinction each time.
Okay. That's a thin line, though, right? I mean, he's expected to be a pro Marlins broadcaster, unless I'm wrong. Okay, unless I'm wrong.
Do you think Eric Reed, like when he introduces himself to people, do you think he says I'm the voice of the Heat or 4-time NBA champion?
Not that I'm aware of, and I think more of him for not doing that.
That wasn't a not that I'm aware of question. He was asking you which way he introduced himself. 4-time NBA champion or voice of the Miami Heat or neither.
I think voice of the Miami Heat is descriptive and accurate.
Right.
Voice of the Miami Heat is even more obnoxious than 4-time champion. Hello, I'm Eric Reed.
I don't think so.
Voice of the Miami Heat.
No. Rick Weaver was the voice of the Miami Dolphins for years.
Which is more obnoxious? You guys tell me. Introduce.
But he actually is the voice of the Heat.
But he's also a 4-time champion.
No, he
I know,
isn't.
but Greg is saying he's not.
Well, he's not actually the voice of the Heat either. He's just somebody who broadcasts their game. Pat Riley is the voice of the Heat.
Okay, well, that, if you want to.
For now.
Yeah.
Well, yes, until he gets fired by Stephen A. Smith again.
Well, no, or LeBron and Kevin Durant come together.
According to that report.
Some, yeah.
The couple of things that I wanted to get to that I have gotten derailed from. And I want to know if you guys know this. The Hat Hall of Fame. I need to get a Hat Hall of Fame from you.
Yeah.
And I got pulled over because I went through a stop sign on my bicycle. And I did not know that you couldn't just roll through stop signs on your bicycle. I didn't know that bicycles had the same set of road rules as cars. I thought you could just roll right through intersections if you see nothing's going on and you're on a bike path.
It's not a yield sign. It's a stop sign.
I know, but I thought it was for cars. I didn't think it was for a bicycle. So I ask you the question.
But bicycles have their own lanes now.
I know, but I don't think of stop signs. I think of if I'm on a bicycle, like if I'm going on a road that's 15 miles per hour, and I can see clearly on both ends that there is no car. I'm not in a vehicle dangerous enough to others that I need to stop there. I thought I could just roll through that. Do you think that cyclists that are listening to this stop at every stop sign? Because I don't see a whole lot of people stopping at stop signs unless there are cars coming through the intersection. I see all over South Florida bikes rolling through stop signs. I did not in any way expect to be pulled over, so much so that while the cop is next to me with the lights flashing, I wave and say hello.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And did you keep going?
Dan pulled off to the side.
Slope speed chase.
I kept riding. Yes, it was that's right.
So the cop thought you were trying to get away?
No, well, yes.
Dan almost pulled off to the side.
Disrespectful at the very least. I wasn't trying to pedal away fast.
You pulled off to the side.
I was resisting arrest.
He pulled you over and said, all right, officer, let's take this picture and keep it moving.
Well, I thought that's what it was.
The move is where you pull off to the side thinking they're just going to pass you, but then they pull behind you and you're like, oh, wait, what?
Okay, but listen. All right, so
I was doing something nice for you.
When I say listen literally, very few people are in their cars more than police officers. And so there are a lot of police officers, more so than anything else. I often get pulled over by police officers who just want to say hello. Because I'm driving around in slow places.
Well, the paper they give you is called a ticket, and you got to pay those. It's not like a fanfare for meeting you.
They let you off with a warning, please. Tell me they did.
Yes, they did.
What?
Really?
Oh, come on.
But I didn't know it was a crime.
You talked your way out of it. You talked your way out of it.
Anyone.
Go ahead, Roy, say it.
Two Americas.
At Le Batard Show, is a black person more likely to be arrested rolling through a stop sign on a bicycle?
I would like to. Do you know the officer's name by any chance?
No.
I would like to give that officer like a Medal of Honor. Possibly even like a Presidential Medal of Freedom. I can't give those, but maybe one day. I can't give those, but like this police officer, I don't use this term lightly, is a hero. Because the people that ride bikes and are constantly not paying attention to any of the laws of the road because they believe that they're just on bikes and they don't need to, really are a hazard and danger to everyone else involved because you just run straight through. I was driving down the street the other day and there was a woman running with headphones on and I'm turning and she just runs straight across the street without even looking both ways because she couldn't hear cars coming. People need to be more aware of their surroundings. And more often than not, and you know what? I support our boys in blue. I respect them, all of that, right? But more often than not, police let things go that you'd like to see them not let go. Like I was driving today on the expressway, and I saw a motorcycle zooming full speed through a bus-only lane just to not be in traffic. There was a cop 2 cars ahead of me, and I was sitting back, and I was like, we're going to go get him or what? What are we doing here? Come on, let's put an end to this. And it didn't happen. So I would like to commend this officer for upholding the law with you, Dan Le Batard, rogue bike rider. What?
For paying attention, Billy, for paying attention.
Yeah.
Someone out there is paying attention.
Saving lives, really.
Yeah.
Probably Dan's life, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
At Le Batard Show, did you know that you could be arrested for rolling through a stop sign on your bicycle?
Well, you weren't arrested.
I know, but you could be. I was not aware.
And you were drunk.
I was not drunk.
Yeah.
That's not part
That's
of
not
the
what I
story.
heard. I happen to know the cop.
The guy who slurs his way into the bushes is
Hello.
going to...
No.
Why didn't that go as hello, Dolly? Why was it just hello said that way?
That's
as opposed
different.
to-
Yeah.
That's a
it's
whole different
one.
A whole different retort.
You guys all knew this? Everyone knew this. I'm the only one who didn't know that you can't ride on a bicycle a little bit differently than we do according to regulation, street law in vehicles like drag racers.
I will admit that when I'm driving in my car and I see a bike come to a stop at a stop sign, I roll down my window and I go, nerd! And I just screech away. You know, I mean, you don't see...
In your Corvette?
Yeah, you just don't see bikes
You
stop
slayed
at a
them.
stop
You
sign.
slayed them in your Corvette. You drove off.
Imagine how it's going to be when they're driving on that arch. I mean,
yes, exactly.
Dan, you should feel very, very lucky, Dan, that they let you off with a warning because according to our crack investigative team, Dan, you have an outstanding speeding ticket for $200
Whoa!
in Miami Beach. So if that officer had known he could have pulled you over, Dan, you could be in jail right now for all we know. Wow. Unbelievable.
You run the records.
It's ridiculous, Dan.
Did somebody run a public records thing right now? Are you just
We have a
making that
great
up?
investigative journalism team. Your middle name is Thomas, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I knew
you.
That. I knew that too. I'm a journalist.
I have an outstanding ticket that you guys...
Everyone does. I feel like everyone's got some outstanding
I definitely
ticket.
have one. I have like 7 or 8 from different parking garages, that's for sure.
My wife will pay it for you.
I get a bill every month for like some pass. It's like, you owe us. It's like, I paid you.
Can you get Erlene on, please, so that I can talk to her and ask her
She wasn't
some
available an
questions?
hour ago. I'll check.
Okay, so the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody.
Yep.
Are you going to ask her to pay your ticket? I mean, Greg did offer it. So
she would.
The Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody.
Fine.
It's with. I mean, I appreciate the mention of it, but it's with, not featuring.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I mean, get that straight.
Yep.
It's part of the title of the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I called your show the Dan Le Batard Show and Stugotz.
That would be nice.
That
would slay.
You better step back.
That would slay.
Ooh, me or Greg?
Oh, that hit a little close to home. What's going on?
Been waiting for that mistake for 20 years.
The Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody.
With.
Fine.
Yeah, with. Thank you.
He was mad, and I don't know if you guys saw how spicy he was when he came in here. And I don't know, Chris, if you understood. I saw you just mouth now traffic, and that's part of it. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you find yourself increasingly angry in traffic and after traffic? Because he did storm in here, but it wasn't just traffic that was bothering him. He said that the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody went out today 90 minutes too late. You don't understand, or maybe you do, Chris, as his producer. The amount of narcissism that your father was feeling, and I want to tell everyone how I danced at the wedding. Like that would be released 90 minutes late. That you wouldn't allow him to make your brother's wedding immediately about him and the things that he felt and saw, so that he could give content to America. He came in here enraged and said, quote, inexcusable that I went out 90 minutes late today talking about me and more me and more me on a podcast named twice for me, The Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody.
He likes to just he likes to just rip people. He did it at the hotel the other night. Me and my brother and my dad were waiting to get into the hotel where we're going to like be getting changed, getting ready for the wedding.
He's painting me in a bad portrait here.
It was supposed to be ready at 1. They kindly told us, "Hey, sorry, it'll be ready 1:15." And just my dad huffing and we're a wedding guy. We're on the top. People checking in. He's like, they're not staying in a suite.
He's a spoiled
Those
brat.
people are not staying in a
God,
suite. Why do they get their room before us?
He was crushing Mark.
No, he's a toddler, and he's free now, and he's empowered and enriched by book fame and podcast riches. And he
should have
can't be
seen him
controlled.
huffing and puffing,
Yeah,
giving
can't be
like
controlled. Everyone.
like
I
just
was puffing, but I
staring
was
at,
not huffing.
giving looks to like the making up people uncomfortable, like just not even speaking.
Yes.
I
Just
shamed him.
cold.
I shamed him out of going up there and physically speaking to them. So he's just like steam coming out of his ears, just staring at them.
Entitled toddler.
It's a total exaggeration.
Mm-hmm.
I was not.
I bet it is.
I was not being rude to anyone. I did point out to them that we had made this arrangement weeks ago,
Like
with
most reservations are.
with the understanding that we had to be in this suite at a certain time, and we were told in advance it'll be available.
It is a
at
big
1.
day, too. It's a big
Yes.
day.
Yeah.
No, and it was a mistake by them, but they were apologetic. They were like, it'll be 15 minutes. Just the idea of
He wants the room.
No,
he doesn't
but
want to
needs-
apologize.
No, but look, it's how about you. It's how you handle these things. He needed to let them know that he was frustrated. It's like
I handled it with aplomb.
They acknowledged the mistake. They said it would be ready in 15 minutes, and that wasn't good enough. He had to let them. He had to keep pacing by the desk, letting them know how angry he was.
I mean, you are exaggerating. You'll admit. Was I angry? Did I convey that in the most polite way possible? Yes, that's correct.
I just want to address here, was I angry in the most polite way possible? And with the song, I handled that with aplomb.
That's correct.
I don't know how you define aplomb. How do you define aplomb?
Because is this the fruit?
Handling them with not a plum.
It's like a purple thing.
Yeah, APLOMB.
To handle something with a aplomb is to handle it with great grace. I don't think of that as seething anger that have you stomping around with your son embarrassed by the way that you're behaving. That's the opposite of great aplomb.
My anger was deftly hidden.
But not from your son.
No, it wasn't.
Well, you know me.
I walked into the room and I could just see it on your face. I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, we're supposed to be in the room by now. It's 1 o'clock. They said 1:15. They've apologized, but it's not good enough.
I mean, along the timelines, 1 o'clock, if you're going to the hotel room to get ready, by 3 o'clock, Greg was 3 drinks in at the venue. There's not a lot of wiggle room there.
Billy, I will tell you this. Right now, I would win. I'll have no choice but to run for president of the United States, just like Stephen A. Smith, with the platform of I will make federal mandate noon check-in at hotels.
Nice.
Yes.
Now you're talking.
Then check out is like 8 a.m.
You got my vote.
You got my vote,
You'd have to check out at 8
I
a.m.
thought that part out. It's like the tariffs. Bleep off with your details. I'm just running on federally mandated every hotel noon check-in.
You got my vote.
Yes.
Executive order.
I need that in a Super Bowl Saturday.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
Dan.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Thank you,
I
Dan.
have not thought of the consequences that no one wants to leave their hotel room at 8 a.m.
No.
Yeah, but it also shouldn't take housekeeping 4 hours to clean a damn
Here
room.
we go.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of
They have a lot of rooms.
That's who we're
Every
going
time
to
I
say.
go
We're going
A
to
lot of floors that you got to go to.
Careful whenever
Come on,
you
man. Leave a tip.
This feels
What
like a
happened.
mistake.
Yes,
Leave a tip.
don't allow the elite
This
to
one
get around
does.
how it is housekeeping should be working. Next thing you know, you're going to have people deported.
It
Dan.
shouldn't- Yeah.
Not
come on
him.
now.
He wouldn't do that.
Okay. It's not rocket science.
Do you tip housekeeping?
What
if-
you're doing right now?
If I'm staying there for more than a couple of days, absolutely.
Right.
If I'm staying there for 3 hours, like I was Saturday,
Wait a minute.
I
You
wouldn't.
tip housekeeping?
Yeah.
Oh,
if
I
I'm,
do,
if
yeah.
I'm there for an extended period of time, sure.
1 day, 2 days, that you'll leave money on the pillow?
Usually on the desk.
I'm surprised to hear you do that. Put
Well,
it on
my
the poll.
wife does, in all honesty.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
There
and
it
and
is.
I ask her how much did you leave for a tip because I'm thinking $20, and she'll tell me something that she thinks is palatable to me, and I triple it.
I'm shocked that you're good with 20 because we've done the whole thing here with valets where you
That's not-
have.
he lied
He's
right
trying
now.
to break a 5.
He just
It
for the
hurts me to
valet.
give a 5.
He
I
lied.
will
Let's
admit
get
that.
your mother on the phone. He just said he tripled your mom's tips. She's going to blow a gasket. You think he was mad about that room? Him out here claiming that he will triple his wife's tips when I know him to be a cheap man.
No. What I mean is I tripled what she tells me she left for a tip.
In his
I
head.
see what you're
In
saying.
your head, right.
She
You
lies
don't
to him
tip
about
at
the
all.
amount.
You
You
don't
left 10,
tip.
you tell her you would've
You
left
don't
30.
tip at all, and
Right.
you would not
No.
tip. You would not tip.
No,
you would
she
not,
might,
you would
depending
not
on my
tip.
mood.
I might.
You would
She-
not. Depending on my mood.
She tells him she tipped 20, and he assumes it was actually 60.
I get it.
I mean,
sorry.
I'm not taking a crap in the bed. There's nothing I'm leaving for the
fair.
housekeeping.
You're sleeping with those feet in that bed.
Yeah, that's true.
I saw for the first time
That
a
is
hotel not too long ago that actually had a QR code if you wanted to tip the housekeeping, which I
That's
thought was
smart.
awesome.
That's great.
Because I never have
Yes.
cash.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
but I am so tired of everyone wanting a tip for everything.
I know, I
though.
hate
like
that
this
too.
is just this
careful.
is a proliferation of tips for
It's because we
everything.
pay them totally unlivable wages.
There is that. It is a cry for help. It's a cry for help on the internet. Tip me for something you've never tipped for because I'm slave labor.
But they're cleaning my
Slaver.
room. I mean, do you know how much disgusting my room is
I
after
can
3
imagine.
days?
I can imagine. Again, though, I get back to I want some clarifications here. Depending on my mood, couple of days, he would not tip housekeeping. He was just taking credit for his wife tipping housekeeping.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you go on a cruise ship and the tip's built in. You have no choice but the tip.
Right.
Which I don't like. I think tipping should be an option at all times, under all circumstances.
How about Uber? Because the tip is built in. I mean,
Well, Uber's a fine line because I don't want my Uber driver to talk to me too much.
Put it on the poll. Do you tip Uber and do you tip housekeeping? I'm going to guess most people do not tip housekeeping. I was stunned to hear you say that, and then less stunned when I found out you don't actually, and you object to your wife doing so.
No, I object to how much she's leaving for a tip.
You would do it if it depends on your mood.
Yeah, and depends on the service.
But your mood would always be to not tip.
No, not really. No, if I'm there for a couple of days, if I'm one night in the room.
I don't know the distinction you're making there. 1 night, 3 nights,
Couple of days,
one night, 7 nights, 1 night, 2 nights, 9 nights.
No, one night I won't tip unless I've asked for a special favor.
2 nights?
2 nights is a maybe.
3 nights?
3 or more nights is pretty much definite. Unless housekeeping has been a little bit surly to me.
Yes.
Oh,
Surly?
Yeah.
And you let them have it. Yeah.
They got to earn.
And he stops
They
right.
got to earn. You got to earn. You got to learn.
I want to get to Caitlin Clark and Asia Wilson in a second with Juju, but Greg Cody, before we get out of here for the day, Stugotz was telling me that you have some sort of addendum to your statue edict from last week. So let's not get out of here before we get. You want to reappraise the audience of both what your statue edict was and what the addendum now is?
Yeah. I felt a little bad last week, and I appreciate the chance to maybe clarify a little bit. I use Don Staley as an example to say that in sports, I believe we have too many statues in sports. I think the statue should be reserved for the elite of the elite. And Don Staley is very good. South Carolina loves her. She's a great basketball coach. She's won, I think 2 championships. I don't think you give a statue for 2 championships. I don't. The example I would use is Greg Popovich, 5 championships. And now retiring only for health reasons.
So you tip for 1 or 2 days, or you don't tip for 1 or 2 days, but you do on the 3rd, and you don't give statues for 1 or 2 championships, but you do for the 4th and the 5th.
Yeah, because you got to draw the line somewhere.
Makes
right?
sense.
You got to draw the line somewhere. I think Popovich, to me, is a statue.
Right. Okay, got it. So the old white guy gets a statue, and the young black woman does not.
Oh, here we go. Okay. I was thinking in terms of 2 championships versus 5.
Okay, but
well,
also,
if Staley's career ends with just 2 titles, does she deserve a championship? Because I think doing it while she's still coaching is probably what bothers you.
But I also said what I said was
premature.
What I said was accurate, though. Correct.
That Popovich is white and Don Staley is black?
Yes.
That would be very accurate.
Thank you. That's all.
Okay.
You nailed it.
Okay.
But what are you implying there? I'm using numerics. I'm going 2 championships versus 5.
I also love this because she has 3 championships.
Does she? Okay, so she's getting close. She's getting closer.
1 away.
She's getting closer. Would I give 3? No. If Eric Spoelstra had won all 3 championships for the Heat, is he deserve a statue? Not yet. 3 championships. Not yet.
I mean, in fairness,
in my opinion, I'm just giving my opinion.
You took Wade's statue away last week. You did.
Well,
yes.
I want
He's taking away black statues and giving them to white men.
I want a statue of Wade that looks like Wade.
That's fair.
But Wade only won 3 championships. Did he deserve a statue?
I said last week that he didn't, and I didn't mean that as an insult to Dwayne Wade.
Enough of this. Juju is waiting, and he should not be kept waiting anymore. As Greg Cody takes away statues.
Nah, I think I want to stay here.
Okay. All right.
I want to just tell my brother Greg, I love you, brother. You're my brother. You feel me? But I think more than the championships, what Don Staley means to that sport, what Don Staley has done to South Carolina, what South Carolina was before she got there, the example she set to black little girls everywhere that you can be, the people she's led, Asia Wilson, Lisa Gray, she's had more of a cultural impact and just a global impact as far as her being especially a former player. Just her impact is what deserves a statue more than the championships. You feel me?
I do, and I think while I think that's arguable, I think you make a great point. And by my
what's arguable?
What he just said, equating to a statue, I think is arguable. But I think he makes a good argument.
But I would say that would be more reason to give someone a statue than championships. No, do you think I have it wrong when I say?
I think it's a combination of everything.
But no, when I say giving of statues, though, I can give anybody a number and say you deserve a statue. And I could do that with anybody. But cultural impact, isn't that what statues are for?
I think for me, statue is you have been a success and an impact for eternity. You deserve to be remembered in statue form 3 generations from now, forever.
For impact, for championships, not impact.
I think part of the problem is she is still coaching.
So
I think
Don
Greg feels like statues are reserved for people once they retire.
Don deserves to be forgotten, then, is what you're saying. Greg Cody, Don Staley should be forgotten.
No, I'm not. I just think there are too many statues in sports. I happen to use her as an example. I think it's premature. I don't think it's not deserved. I think years from now, at the end of her career, when you should look back for a statue, not during a career, I think she may well deserve a statue. Do I think she does right now? I don't, but it doesn't mean that she's any kind of a failure at all. I just think too many statues.
So she's not a failure.
Greg, how about Manu Ginobili? Manu Ginobili helped lead the Spurs to 4 championships as a player.
Yeah.
Manu Ginobili, does he deserve a statue?
I don't think so.
I agree.
How about Rocky?
No, again.
What?
That's a good example of who doesn't deserve
What about Lady Liberty?
A mythical statue. It's a mythical figure is getting a
heavyweight
statue.
champ.
What about Ted Williams?
The Statue of Liberty.
You could make an argument for Ted Williams. Yeah.
With or without the head?
Jackie Robinson, Babe Ruth.
Yep.
There's Hank Aaron deserves a statue.
Mm-hmm.
People from your era.
Well, okay.
Jackie Robinson, Greg, in your argument, only won 1 championship.
And Ted Williams has none.
Yeah, but
what cultural impact did he ever have?
Jackie Robinson?
I'm not sure. There's no record of it.
Okay. All right, now you guys are being silly. I'm just saying this.
Let it play out. He needs to see the overall body of work.
All I'm saying is there's too many statues in sports.
Yeah, you said that a couple of different times.
Okay, I didn't think it was controversial. I think if you put it on your poll, most people would agree with me. There's too many statues in sports.
Are there too many statues in sports? Let's get back to actual sports. Caitlin Clark, she returns to Iowa, and a logo 3. You think that Buddy Hield is changing the sport. You understand that people are now. I'm legitimately, when I watch this Celtics-Knicks series that's coming up, I urge you guys to continue to be confused by how far Karl Anthony Towns is from the basket when he's shooting the basketball. Caitlin Clark logo 3s, Juju, clearly you're here for them.
Yes, I am. And Caitlin Clark 1,000% deserves a statue in Iowa, because where the hell would Iowa be? That girls basketball team without her putting them on the map. But yeah, bro, her and the Fever returned to Iowa yesterday, the alma mater. I think that's a great idea by the W. You feel me? Like letting the players go back to where they are grown and where people love them the most, and take their professional team and have exhibition games. They beat the brakes off of Brazil, but nobody was there for that. Even after the game, Brazil was asking for autographs and TikToks from Caitlin. She just overall is a positive person for the entire sport, and I can't wait to see what she does this year.
Juju, you mentioned Brazil. I wanted to ask you guys a question. I learned something else over the weekend other than getting stopped on my bicycle by a police officer, that could happen. I learned that a female artist or an artist of any kind could draw more than 2 million fans in Brazil. It's the most ever by a female artist. But when I saw that, I'm like, how is there more than that? 2.5 million seems like a crowd that would be the most that have ever gathered for anybody, any kind of artist. But also I learned, and I did not know this, Copacabana, a real place. I did not know it was a place in Brazil.
Get out of here.
I didn't know it was a real place. I did not know it was a real place.
Wow.
I thought it was just a song.
Surprised you would admit that.
Man, when's the last time you read a book?
At Le Batard Show. Did you know Copacabana was a real place?
I would love it if the percentage was 93% of the people knew that was a real place.
Being all show to drop that line back at him.
LeBron, can you tell me, Juju, what it is that you did with the polls today? Do you have them on you? Because I have to get to this. You did not have them on you. You Hall of Fame, the Hat Hall of Fame. I've got to conclude that for the day. What do you guys have for Hat Hall of Fame?
Pharrell Williams.
Yeah. Wow, that's good.
Oh, so it's not. So we're not doing just sports, because everything before that was just sports.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Heisenberg, Breaking Bad.
Winston Churchill, the famous Holmberg.
Fred Durst.
Solid. Fred Durst, great.
The tiny little blue hat on Hey Arnold.
Yeah.
Remember the little blue hat between his hair? No?
Not a first balloter, but
The Cat in the Hat.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Dan's Kangol when I first started working on the show.
I did have a Kangol.
You had a Kangol
What?
face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson had a Kangol, right?
Do we have any
Steve Martin.
video of
Steve
that?
Martin.
Steve Martin wore a Kangol?
He wore a hat too, actually. Come to think of it.
He did
Sorting
wear a
hat in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Also wore an arrow through his head.
Yeah.
Prop comic.
Steve Martin.
Juju, what do you have for polls today?
Before I get to the poll, I got just a couple things, you feel me? Get them out quickly. Billy, I 100% agree with you about pedestrians. Like, watch where you're going. Because if I make a mistake, yeah, you have the right of way, but you'll be right on your way to hell or heaven if I hit you with a car.
And then I go to jail.
Exactly. Right. Pay attention to where you're going, pedestrians. Also, snitches get stitches. Why we bringing up Dan's tickets on the air? Like, she's just
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Juju, because I'm surrounded by spies and what you.
Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Chris
Yeah,
Cody,
yeah.
what are you doing dancing around because you revealed my outstanding ticket on the air? How could you be
that was
happy
just my
about
people
that?
working behind the scenes. I didn't even do
To
it.
betray me?
Yeah, I mean, we're all here for the
more of
content.
I mean, for what it's worth, we're all betrayed on the show every day. So.
Yes, it was more of a
Ain't that the
reminder, Dan, that you have an outstanding ticket. Pay it. You know, we don't want you to get arrested.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
we just
two.
want
I
good
told
for
you
you.
guys I got 2 tickets, one in a school zone, and I
Oh,
thought
the
maybe
school zone.
I only
School zone.
paid one of them.
You're
You guys
racing
said that
through
the
a school
best
zone.
time to be speeding is after being caught speeding, and I was telling you I got caught speeding the other day, and then got another ticket in a school zone right then after.
Imagine you speeding through that school zone and little kids on their bikes running stop signs.
Seriously.
What kind of world would we be
That's
in?
unbelievable. So when you say, do you know who I am, the cop really doesn't buy that, or how does that work?
Barack Obama's White Sox hat.
Oh, Ken Griffey Jr.
Bad.
Also, last week we said that Zaslow was the person that you heard first say, ah. That actually was pointed out by hundreds of fans that was on Wayne's World. So I think Zaslow got that something from Wayne's World.
so he just stole it and made it his own.
For sure.
Journalist
Absolutely.
Laszlo.
Proud of him.
And speaking of the fans, of course, I can't be here and not ask the question that all the fans want to answer today. I'm sorry if this offends everybody, but Stugotz, I got to ask you, Celtics, Knicks, what is your prediction for your team?
Oh boy, I'm so scared to say this, but I feel good about the Knicks' chances.
Oh wow!
I did like Jaylen Brown is banged up. Tatum appears to be a little bit banged up. They have Al Horford. We don't. That could be a deciding factor. I think the Celtics in 7. I think it's going to be a very, very close series.
But that's
Nice.
that's not actually believing in your team. That's
It is believing in my team.
Well,
I don't want to say what it is I want to say. Fine, I'm going to say it. The Knicks in 6.
Wow. The words don't mean anything if you do it after the making it the Celtics.
I didn't want to
in
jinx
7.
it. I promised certain friends I would not jinx it, and here I am.
I don't
jinxing
believe
it.
that at all.
I didn't promise anyone.
Why do you lie so much?
That is just.
filling time,
I
Roy,
promise. We're
Ah,
not
to fill
filling
time, yeah.
time. We're doing the Juju segment.
Yo, chicken
Hey, he asked me a question.
Friends, don't ask you. We're not surprised. Prediction. They know why you do that. Not surprised at all.
So if you keep it track at home, I have the Celtics in 7 and the Knicks in 6.
What's that? Knicks in 6. That doesn't. We don't have a prediction.
Frosty the Snowman's hat.
Oh, it's a good one.
The MAGA hat.
You know what?
That hat has to be in there, guys. I know it's controversial. It's in there.
I'm objecting to the first Zagaki I haven't liked.
Really?
I'm the 6th Zagaki, and I'm the worst one. I knew it. I knew it when I went to air with it.
Because you don't believe it in your heart. Because you're a fraud, Zagaki.
Yeah.
You wanted
Frizaki.
to say, you didn't want.
A fake
You
Zagaki.
just wanted the attention, and you hated that you had to do it with the MAGA hat, but you wanted to try a Zagaki.
It's a good joke, though.
Because you feel left out. That you're not a Zagaki. Yeah, everybody else has got a Zagaki, and you don't have a Zagaki.
Zagaki.
Does Greg Cody's feet look like the devil's feet?
100%.
94% of the audience says yes, they do.
Oh,
Those 6%.
Okay.
Please. Love
Is
it.
slayed a modern term that kids say?
Oh, boy.
69% of the audience says yes, it is.
Nice.
He's been making making that sound. This is why I didn't understand where the whole old dolly came from today. The whoop whoop is the sound I've been hearing when he's right since the 50s.
I am lit right now, man. I am lit.
Should everyone be talking about Buddy Hield today?
Yeah.
65% of the audience says yes, they should.
Thank you.
Great set of teeth on Buddy Hield, by the way.
Put
Chompers.
it on the poll at Le Batard Show.
You're right.
Great set of chompers on Buddy Hield, question mark. Yes or
There's
no?
a statue, Buddy Hield.
Is Big Shot Bud a good nickname? 57% of the audience says no, it's not.
What about Big Shot Bob, which is also what he called Buddy Hield inexplicably?
Well, I said the B in Buddy stands for Big Shot Bob.
There it is.
Thank you.
Can you be back if you never arrived? 67% of the audience says no, you cannot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you answer the phone on the weekend?
Hell no.
63% of the audience says no, they don't.
Wow.
Right. Have you ever spelled the word restaurant right on the first attempt? 55% of the audience are liars and they say yes.
Split on that.
Close vote.
Right. Are you keeping an eye on Aaron Judge?
It's just wrong. It's unfair.
You have to.
Right. 58% of the audience says they're not, though.
Woo!
Dang.
Wow. Surprise.
Right.
You should start.
Upset.
Is Jimmy Goldstein's hat a Hall of Famer? 62% of the audience says yes, it is.
Another statue deserved. Yeah. Goldstein.
Can you get a DUI while riding on a bicycle? 86% of the audience says yes.
Not if you're Dan.
You're willing to give an old white guy's hat a statue before Dawn Staley?
To Americas. Sorry, Greg. I love you. Listen to the Greg Cody podcast featuring Greg Cody.
Yeah, thank you, Juju. Appreciate that.
Last poll. Did you know that you could get pulled over for running a stop sign while on your bicycle? 67% of the audience says no, they did not. And those are your polls.
Victory for Dan.
All right. Yeah.